Oh, my profane friends, how are you? Having a great day, I hope. Well, this is a bit of a bit shocking, this one, you know what I mean? Because this deals with what we're supposed to be caring about, and, there's a big question mark as why we're not sorting it out and why ain't we taking care of it, especially in the last, I don't know, maybe 30 years, you know what I mean? And this goes right across the board. The first thing you got to remember with these people, right? Yeah, they keep wanting you to look at this. Look, see, I can play it, and there's no point to it. But there exists a semi-secret cabal of globalists. Yeah, so they get you thinking it's like a global thing. Yeah, so you got to think like, oh, it's so big, it's so vast, and so massive. How can I, a small person on my own, contend with that? Do you know what I mean? But your world, as I keep telling people, is your neighbourhood. Do you know what I mean? Or your community. Yeah. Your world is your town. Your world is your city. Your world is your village. Do you see what I mean? And so long as you're working towards cleaning up your own towns, your own backyards, basically, yeah, your towns and cities of what controls that, yeah, then everything else will fall into place, doesn't it? Do you know what I mean? You can't help, I live in Great Yarmouth. I can't help anyone, basically, that goes on in Scotland, for instance, or down into Cornwall. Do you know what I mean? Or into, I'm trying to think of other places. Like, I can't help anyone in France or in Paris or anything like that, yeah? It's for us, yeah, as a group, as a nation, yeah, of people, of cleaning up our own backyards, yeah, and finding out what is the common denominator in it all, yeah. And the thing is, the common denominator in it all at the top of the pyramid, obviously, are the globalists, yeah. But they don't want you, the profane, thinking about your own neighbourhoods. They want you thinking about things like in the UK, they want us thinking, like they want us looking at number 10 or the White House or China, or do you know what I mean? All them different places that we can't have nothing to do, but they want you thinking about that because then you ain't looking to your own back door. Do you know what I mean? Or what's going on within your own community and what has the influence over your community. Do you know what I mean? Who are these people? Because whoever they are, remember they are answering up to the elite. They are controlling your town or your city for those that are the elite or the globalists above. Yeah. Okay, and obviously we can go on about it, but again, this is how they separate it and divide it. Yeah, because they go implicate their power through vehicles of Freemasonry, the Bilderberg Group, Bohemian Grove, Skull and Bones. Do you know what I mean? And you can go on all of it. It don't matter. The WHO, WHO, the World Economical Forum, or whatever the bloody hell it is. All of that is to do with Freemasonry. They're all Freemasonry. There's no separation from any of it. It's just different aspects of the army. Same as there's infantry, same as there's a tank division, same as there's a artillery division, same as there's a navy, and then there's an air force, blah blah blah. You see what I mean? That's Freemasonry. They just separate it into different things and call it. I've got a phone call here. I'll take this phone call because I always have interesting phone calls anyway. Oh, I don't know because you won't be able to hear it. I don't think. I think that cancels the sound. I don't even know if it's cancelled the sound now. So whether I'll decline it, because if I just shove that to the side, that's even if you can hear me now, because it cancels when I take the call, I think. Do you know what I mean? So I'm just going to wait for him to bomb out, and hopefully he doesn't. Rags does talk some good sense, though. Do you know what I mean? Right now, so this is what they do anyway. They want you thinking on a global, on a global world thing, but it's not about the globe. It's not about the world. It's not about, they want you looking at whether the moon landings are happening, with the Japan, the China ones, they're laughable, aren't they? But, they want you thinking whether the Earth's flat or round. That doesn't matter. Do you know what I mean? What matters is what's going on in your community, and the corruption within it. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, anyway, here we go. Look, I'm going to jump about as I normally do. You know what I mean? Just to show you, different aspects of what we don't think of or what we should be thinking of. Yeah, and where they brainwash you into looking elsewhere or at other things rather than concentrating on the real problem that is within your town or your city. Do you know what I mean? So here we are. Here, look. With the care, right now, watch this. Look, yeah, this is Freemasonry through and through. Yeah, This is right, a long time vision. 50 people that, with residential care and residential dementia support in Manchester, right? Yeah. But look, the homes retain a high level of occupancy. However, and remember, this is their words, it doesn't make it frickin' true. You've got to research it. Only a small number of residents are Freemasons or their dependents, 27%, yeah, with the vast majority of placements now being offered to wider community and funded by the local authority. Do you see what I mean? So we basically we fund these people, and they obviously, you know, they're the boards and the trustees, yeah. But we fund these people, yeah. Even though they got so much money, all the wealth you could ever think of in the world, these people own it. You look at the buildings that are owned within your own town and city; they own it all. That's the basic bottom line of it. People who wants to be rich or hold power keep hold of the land. You own the land, then you own the water, blah blah blah. Yeah, you see, it's all the way through. Yeah, they just own it all. It don't matter what it is. They pretend, and all they do is just pass it from person to person. So you think, oh, Joe Boggs bought that, or Mr. Smith owned that 10 years ago, and he's like, all it is they just pass it on to another Freemason. Do you know what I mean? So it looks like, you know, it's always never in their hands. Do you know what I mean? Basically, but they always own it. It's always willed back to them, and they always own it. You know, but this is what they do. But they use our, you know, they use our funds, yeah, to fund their causes. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, like they'll do charity events, yeah, we go to it, pay into it, but all that does is pay into their own stuff, like their hospitals, their children's homes, and all the rest of it. Do you know what I mean? Which they again own. You know, you look at any children's home, they're all owned by Freemasonry, because if you want access to children, you've got to be able to control, you know, things like social services, the children's homes, especially if you want to find the vulnerable ones that are can be displaced and disappear without any questions being asked. You know what I mean? You need to control that environment, but that's another story. But there it is. You know what I mean? This is why they, you know, this is why they have these things. Do you know what I mean? And there's always the Grand Masters of this and the Grand Masters of that. But at the end of the day, here they go again. Look, we support over 1,000 residents in across 18 care homes. Yeah. Of England and Wales, you know what I mean? But that's a false figure, that is, you know what I mean? Because if you do the true figuration on it, yeah, you'll find it's very far and few between where they're ever telling the truth to people. Do you know what I mean? So I'm going to go through these first. Right, here it is. Look, Netherlands to broaden, right? Look, euthanasia, right? Rules to cover children of all ages. Yeah, so they're now bringing in new regulations will apply to those aged 1 to 12 who suffer unbearably and have no hope of improvement. You know what I mean? How can a 12-year-old, you know, deem what is, you know, what do you deem that as? Do you know what I mean? I mean, I know people who had broken backs and then walked again. You know, and there's a lot of miracles that do happen with people that are, you know, that are terminally ill or whatever. Do you know what I mean? They do have a good life, you know, but how can they determine? Again, it's that case of how do they determine whether they want to kill themselves or not? Do you know what I mean? So I don't know. You know, I just thought it was interesting that they could do that. How can a person, you know, do you know what I mean? I mean, you know, someone who's one might not be able to move about, but I know people with no arms and no legs who are great painters. Do you know what I mean? There's a guy on TikTok. He's got no use of his, you know, he's paralysed from the head down, but he's a real good player at Fortnite. You know what I mean? Everyone moans about him because he wins all the time. Do you know what I mean? He's got a big following, but he, you know, and he can only move and talk with his head. Do you know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. And there's a lot of people like that you know, that become great within themselves. You know what I mean? Who's that other dude? He was in a wheelchair and that, weren't he? But he, I can't remember his name. But, you know, there's all sorts of that. So how do you determine that at that age? I don't know. So that's just another one I just wanted to pull out. And now we're getting, oh no, not the Jada. Oh, baby. That's a film I want to watch, whether that's going to be good or not. Anyway, where we're going now. Right, this is what you fight now. We're always gotten these people, right, and I'll show you a bit later on in the video, right, where I'm arguing with people, right, where they keep turning around. And this, believe me, this is a spiel that comes from the higher levels of Freemasonry. You know what I mean? The people within your community, they're the ones that give this spiel out and tell you that, you know, people on drugs are an illness. You know what I mean? They've got an illness and a thing. Yeah, they have, yeah. But you got to remember, above that, there's people that ain't ill from drugs, right? That are using it and abusing it, yeah, the system, right? And they're not on drugs, you know what I mean? They're driving around in big cars, they own all the businesses and all the things like that, and they come across that they're being respectable and they've got the control of your communities. You know, you go into the pub and they're sitting there and standing there in the pub and everyone's looking up to them, all the youngsters and all the rest of it, do you know what I mean? And they're grooming the next generation of children. Do you know what I mean? And I'm going to show that in my videos. You know what I mean? Like I said, I'm going to show you a bit now, and then I'll go into other bits and pieces, and then I'll come back to it. But look, so this is what we're looking for. So are we or are we not fighting for children? And if we are, why aren't we jumping out on drug dealers? The reason we're not jumping out on drug dealers is because they'll kill you, won't they? You know what I mean? It's all right tricking someone online, you know, that you're a person, and then jumping out on them and going, oh, you've just been caught by a group of people, you know, and you're trying to meet a 14-year-old girl, this, that and the other, right? But we've got people that are on drugs at 14, 12 and 13, 11 and 10, or kids being used at the age of 10, do you know what I mean, to be drug couriers and all the rest of it. So why aren't people jumping out on drug dealers? Do you know what I mean? There's a big difference, isn't there? But anyway, I'll go through it anyway. But this is the thing, you see. Continue. I don't know what that does. But this is and I'm not going to play the video because you can go say, you know, a newborn dies after going home with mum's fighting drug addiction, yeah? And look, in at least 110 cases since 2010, 10 babies whose mothers used opioids during pregnancy later died. Preventable deaths, do you know what I mean? So that's a baby now being addicted to heroin, yeah? I'm not going to play it. But if we're supposed to be like now protecting our children, when are people going to start protecting their children from getting on drugs? You know what I mean? Because the drug epidemic today, yeah, you got kids on the streets and all the rest of it, is rife. Do you know what I mean? You go back 20 years, you didn't see any of it. And like I said, it's all done by an agenda anyway, yeah? It's the government what wants it, yeah? It's the police that are helping it along because they're not investigating anyone. And if you believe the police are investigating any drug dealers, you're off your head. You know what I mean? Except the ones that obviously get put up because they're profane or something like that, do you know what I mean? But a lot of the times you look in your community, people go away, there's no investigation on them, do you know what I mean? Because they're high-ranking Freemasons that are lords, dukes and earls, and they control all the businesses and everything else, because arresting them would have a big detrimental effect on the community, do you know what I mean? Or the businesses that they run. So anyway, but that's another story. But here we go. So here we go, like more than 130,000 other children born in the United States in the last decade. Do you see what I mean? Look at the numbers. Do you see what I mean? The numbers are and we're supposed to be protecting our children. Bullshit. Do you know what I mean? You're talking rubbish. No one's protecting any kids. Do you know what I mean? Because to protect your kids, these are the people you're fighting. You know what I mean? And people are avoiding this like a plague. Do you know what I mean? Because it is a plague. You know, again, look, a mum apparently overdoses next to her child, and why police want you to watch. Well, I'll play this one. Okay.
Police in Massachusetts looking to file child endangerment charges. Look at this. Against a mother who apparently overdosed on heroin in a store with her toddler next to her. Investigators have been looking at this YouTube video. It has been viewed millions of times by people. And it seems to show the woman sprawled out in the aisle of a store as her 2-year-old daughter tugs her hand, trying to revive her. You can hear the 2-year-old crying there for her mom.
Is your river?
Paramedics rushed to the woman to the hospital after reviving her with the antidote Narcan. The toddler is now in the custody of Child Protective Services. Oh my gosh. Look, what a heartbreaking.
It is. Look, we know the scope of the problem. We know that nothing is stronger than the pull of the drug for an addict, not even having their child there. A little bit of question about who was recording that?
Don't know.
And
Don't
not
know.
going to get the kid right away and trying to comfort the kid.
Don't know. Well, we can try to get that answer.
And there you go. Do you see what I mean? But the point of the matter is, yeah, did that child ask for that? Do you know what I mean? Because when I'm having arguments with people, they say, well, drug dealers didn't ask to be drug dealers. Do Do you know what I mean? But you're forgetting, yeah, that these people are already, they're already controlling your nightclubs. Do you know what I mean? They're standing there as your doorman. Do you know what I mean? And I can prove that, and I'm going to show that anyway in my videos. But that's another story at the moment. But the point of the matter is, they're controlling the pubs and the clubs and everything else, right? And it's documented all the way through. You just go to YouTube, yeah, and just look at gangster videos where they talk. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, he was a boxer. He was on the door. Do you know what I mean? Blah blah blah. They brag about it, so the point of the matter is, who's protecting the children? You know what I mean? You say about, they go, oh well, a drug dealer again, now I'm not talking about the drug dealers that are like supplying their habits and trying to keep themselves going and all the rest of it. I'm on about the big boys. Do you know what I mean? The ones that aren't got a drug habit but are taking full advantage of the community, yeah, and their funny handshake to keep themselves out of prison. Do you know what I mean? This is what I'm talking about. Where they're respectable businessmen, So I'll let you read that. All you got to do is read it up anyway, because I've got more coming. This is never ending, yeah. But no one is jumping out on, like on these people that are dealing the drugs, and no one's investigating them. And if you believe the police are, they ain't. You know what I mean? Look, kids of 10 sell drugs. Do you know what I mean? Children aged 10 have been caught dealing drugs, and an investigation revealed yesterday. You know what I mean? Some kids earn as much as £4,000 a week. £4,000 a week. So you imagine the money, right? If the kids are earning £4,000 a week, how about the dealers above them? How much they're earning a week? Do you see what I mean? And you do the maths. You know what I mean? Sometimes up to 9 years old, look, yeah? In a total, 53,497 children that parents and adults didn't give a shit about were caught with drugs on April 1st between 2005 and 2006. So you imagine how many years ago, yeah, and what's been done since then? Nothing. Because no one's investigating anything or doing anything about this problem. Do you know what I mean? Not a one. 4 10-year-olds were arrested for dealing in Lancashire, West Mercia in Kent, and Strathclyde. A Channel 4 check of police authorities data shows. You know what I mean? 3 9-year-olds were picked up in Worcestershire for taking cannabis. Child dealers can earn from £450 to £4,000 a week. The King's College study for the Joseph Rowntree Foundation found police caught more than 6,000 children, selling Class A hard drugs and cannabis last year. The numbers of youngsters dealing in London have shot up to 2,700 to 4,200, you know what I mean, in the past 3 years. And remember, this, and I'm not going to continue reading, I don't need to, but this was in 2006. You imagine the numbers now. Because no one's doing jack. You know what I mean? Nothing. And we're talking about more dangerous people here, yeah, controlling this island. I'll call it an island, the UK, but they're controlling the whole world. You know what I mean? As you know. But this is what it is. Traffic gives again. Feds Ohio sex trafficker gave drug addict pills cash for their children. Do you see what I mean? So children are also being groomed and used as sex slaves. How many people within a town or a city are jumping out on drug dealers? Go on, show me one. No, because there's a wall of silence to it all, isn't there? Shh. You know what I mean? And it's best to be in all, because you get killed for that, don't you? Do you know what I mean? But they don't know who you are. If you go and investigate them now, they know who I am. Do you know what I mean? I'm under threat for death anyway. You know what I mean? It's not like, what are they going to do? They can kill me now anyway. Do you know what I mean? That ain't going to stop me fucking saying nothing, because I've still got all the videos I've got, where their faces and their little clowny heads will come across the screen. Do you know what I mean? And then anyone, and the thing is, if I've got like what I've collected over the last, say, decade, 10 years, right? Even though I'm talking longer than that, obviously. Do you know what I mean? And then you think in like 10 years from now, they're still the ones who are doing it, and nothing's been done. Either one, the police are either that fucking stupid, right? Yeah, and dumb, or they're complicit in it, aren't they? Do you know what I mean? But we're not just talking about, we're talking about how many are fucking Freemasons here. Do you know what I mean? How many of the brothers are actually controlling that system? Do you know what I mean? What businesses have interests in that? Do you know what I mean? I'm just making a coffee. So, like I said, why is there a big wall of silence on this? Do you know what I mean? Obviously, I'll get you killed because you're dealing with people that will kill you. Do you know what I mean? When people jump out on a little paedophile, you know, that's been groomed online to come and meet them, they know they're not going to get killed anyway, or shot at, or anything else. Do you know what I mean? Because most of them are all simpletons anyway. Or a bit backward or whatever, you know. I'm not saying, you know, I'm not excusing that or anything. My point is that there's a bigger problem at hand, and why aren't people addressing it? You know what I mean? Because we're all supposed to be, you know, addressing these problems, that we're supposed to be saving our children, and we fucking ain't. We're doing a bad, terrible job. Do you know what I mean? You know, and if I look, you know, and I could go into it, you know, I've got dads dealing to their sons and their daughters, or their daughters and brothers and sisters, and la 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 la, and you know exactly what I'm talking about. I'm not bullshitting, you know, I'm fucking not. Do you know what I mean? Because it's there in your town, it's there in your city. Do you know what I mean? Again, any of these I'm showing you, you can go look it up yourself. Do you know what I mean? It's not like it's not common knowledge between anyone and everyone to look at. Do you know what I mean? Look. Mother who sells their kids for drugs, help them save them, document, show the world, and create funding for shelters. See, again, it's the world. Yeah, they always make out it's the world. Yeah, it's not. The world is your town in your city. Do you know what I mean? If it's going on in your town and your city, investigate it. Don't rely on the police to do it, because they ain't going to do jack shit. They're complicit with it. Do you know what I mean? They're brothers, and they're giving the old funny shake of the hand, and they're the ones that are doing it all the time. Do you know what I mean? And they're never getting pulled up on it, you know. So, but this is another place. Do you know what I mean? Again, it's not, you know, you're not, no one's looking into it. You know what I mean? No one's, you know, within the town, city, anything you look at and you read, they always say the world or it's global, and it ain't fucking, you know. Exposing East Tennessee's dark secret, families selling children for sex just because to get the drugs. Do you see what I mean? So why ain't anyone going after drug dealers? Do you know what I mean? Or the drug industry? Anyone? None of it. There's always a big shush about it. Do you know what I mean? Shh, don't mention anything. Do you know what I mean? When it's the biggest thing ever. Do you know what I mean? And it's all rolled into one. Do you know what I mean? Right. Again, look at this. Evil dealer took Birmingham children from their families. Do you know what I mean? So these dealers, yeah, that are taken from families, why didn't these families get together? Yeah, and they wouldn't know who it is and just start wiping out the Freemasons. Do you know what I mean? Well, not wiping out the Freemasons. I just got them on the head. But you know what I mean? You can step, because they don't know who you are. Do you know what I mean? They don't know who you are. See what I mean? That's the great thing about it. They don't know who you are or what you are. Do you know what I mean? Anyway, evil dealer took Birmingham children from their families to sell drugs 100 miles from their homes. Do you know what I mean? Kids as young as 14 in the county lines drug business. Do you know what I mean? A crack cocaine and heroin dealer trafficked 3 Birmingham children by forcing them to sell his drugs 100 miles away from their homes. Do you know what I mean? They were getting £500 a day from the kids as young as 14 who he had groomed and recruited for his crime. Do you know what I mean? And these are menlet. Do you know what I mean? Men. But no one's jumping out on these people. Why? Ask the question, why? Why ain't no one going after these people? Do you know what I mean? And they stand there like in their pubs, you know what I mean, in their clubs, and they're fucking the heroes. You know what I mean? Look, connecting the dots between drugs and child trafficking. Yeah. So if we're all after, you know, if we're all after the traffickers of children, yeah, right, and drugs and child trafficking are rolled into one, then shouldn't we start springing out on these drug dealers? Do you know what I mean? And start putting a bit of shame, you know, to them, you know, putting them on camera. Don't you think? You know, jumping out on them as a unit, you know. And like springing out on them. I mean, who are these respectable drug lords within our communities that are doing this to children? You know what I mean? I'll leave that there so you can pause it and then you can read it if you'd like to, yeah. Because I don't want to read through it all myself. I'm just spieling, really. Do you know what I mean? But again, like I said, if we all say no, yeah, right, to anything. It doesn't matter what it is. You all think you're free. Yeah, you ain't. You say no. These people, your drug dealers and the people within the lodge, yeah, they're the ones that are going to come round and bash you and make you start working. Do you know what I mean? And that's what they do. It's like when you have a picket line, yeah. Who do they send round? They send the local bully boys, yeah, and the gangsters to make sure with the baseball bats, and they beat you back. Do you know what I mean? They go, you better start working, and that's who batters you and you know, and get you back to work, regardless of anything. You know what I mean? But that's all manipulated again through people within power within your towns and cities. They ain't going to employ, you know, a bunch of choir boys. No, they're going to go to the local gangsters, yeah, that are training up in the gyms, boxing and all the rest of it, and they're bully boys or whatever, and they're the ones that are going to come around and they're going to punch you up and do whatever they need to do. Do you see what I mean? That's who they hire to do this, you know. But you, again, you can read this as you know, you can pause it and go, you know, but this is again, children at risk of being trafficked right here in our own neighbourhoods, look, in our own neighbourhoods, our own communities. You see what I mean? And it is happening within this community, even today, you know. And people got me, well, why didn't you do something? Because they know me, you know what I mean? It's, you know, I've got other things I've got to, you know, I've got to be, I can't, well, let's put it that way, you know, don't matter anyway. It's about sowing the seed, isn't it? Yeah. Right. And I'll leave that there, and then you can do that. But yeah, like I said, you all think you're free. You're not. If everyone stood up and said, no, we're not doing it anymore, everyone think the society collapses. It don't. What they do, they round up all the troublemakers and shoot them in the head as an example, as if you don't go back to work. Do you know what I mean? And most people by that time have folded, and you know, and then you know you're not in. Then you know you're a slave anyway. You know, that's another good wake up call, I suppose. Do you know what I mean? But most people, you ain't going to get them to stand up and say no. Do you know what I mean? Because a lot of people are too weak to do that. You know, which is a shame, really. You know, all public servants, right, that help these people, right, and the public servants are helping them, and the fucking police. Do you know what I mean? All it takes is one bad copper within the force, and it's you know. It's just astronomical what they get away with. Do you know what I mean? They can stop down any you know, any investigation. Oh, don't do anything today, lads. They're investigating you. So them 12 people that are being investigated just shut down and didn't do fuck all. And then the other group, what they're in the, you know, which is in their, you know, they're in their what they bloody call it, or that are in the syndicate. They then deal, do you know what I mean? They're not even being watched, do you know what I mean? So it's like on a rotation, do you know what I mean? So there's never, you know, the same people being investigated, and they keep well away from it anyway, do you know what I mean? All the time. But if you look and you know where to see, then you can suss and, you know, and you know who it is and who's responsible, you know. Like I said, this island is small and easy to control, do you know what I mean? So I've shown you how drugs is trial trafficking. You know what I mean? Again, look, meth addict couple sell their newborn son online for £6,000 so they can get high. Do you know what I mean? And this is all about the, you know, this is going on in your own communities. Do you know what I mean? It's not, you know, it's not happening globally. It's happening in your communities. Do you know what I mean? The paedophile rings, yeah, are doing this. Do you know what I mean? Because it, you know, they're looking for a way in anyway. And if drugs is there, then that's a good way of getting in there, isn't it? You know what I mean? You know, you got the mother who's desperate to score. You go, yeah, then there's 60 quid. Go score. Yeah, they go off and fuck around. He's looking and babysitting the kids. Do you see what I mean? Dangerous, very fucking dangerous. Do you know what I mean? And they're looking for that weakness. You know, look, see. That's what they do. You know, I've shown you in many videos before. It's not just, you know, and I could go on about the ones here, you know, that have been orphaned and all the rest of it, but that's another story on other videos I've got. Look, Mum from Hell. Mum arrested for selling 8 of her kids to buy drugs as cops hunt lost children. See? And that's in Brazil, that is. It's a global pandemic, but it goes on within your communities as well. You know what I mean? You just got to know where to look. And obviously the police ain't looking. Do you know what I mean? And there you go again. You can go all day. But why ain't no one jumping out on drug dealers? Because they're all involved in this, all of them. Girl 3 was raped and murdered after her mum sold her for drugs worth 10 quid. A girl of 3 years old sold for £10 and murdered. I'll play this one. And there you go. 3-year-old girl that sold for £10. There she is, look. This is what you're up against. Yeah, but I don't see anyone jumping out. Yeah, all these children here, look, they're all been born addicted to drugs. Yeah, but you go argue with any, and the thing is, within your communities, the thing people go, you know, it's an illness. It's you know, drug dealers asked for their drugs. You know what I mean? They don't. You know what I mean? But they don't. What they've done, you know, they've been tricked to go into local pubs and clubs, and the people that are in your community are standing there going, "Do you want some gear? Do you want some gear? Do you want some of this? Do you want some?" And that temptation is always there. Or you got this, you know, they're like that, and they're looking for the weakness. Do you know what I mean? The ones that can be and keep that lifestyle they're accustomed to. Do you know what I mean? And they're predators, and they're watching all the time. Who's a weakness? And if we can get them on drugs, then we can all sleep with them and all the rest of it. And then, you know, they're mouth raping them for a bag of gear. Do you know what I mean? You know, getting blowies off them and all that sort of thing. And they got lists. Believe me, they got lists of what girls will do and what they won't fucking do. Do you know what I mean? I know. You know. Again, I could show you some, you know, where I've spoke to certain girls and that, and you know, they talk, you know, people love to talk, you know what I mean, if you've got a tape recorder out. But again, you see, I could say so much, it's just fucking done in really. But the thing is, no one's looking after these people, are they? No one's looking after these children, you know what I mean? You've got to ask why. You know what I mean? Addicted babies, look, you know what I mean? No one's looking after them. Look, newborn die as going home. A lot of this I'm going to show you in a later thing anyway. Once I've done this, like I said, I'm skipping. You know what I mean? And then what we got here? Oh yeah, the LF. So that's that little piece there. Yeah. Now we'll go into my powerhouse here, and we'll go through these for you. All right. I'll start from here. Disney. Yeah, Disney is one of the biggest shush up crews you'll ever look at. You know what I mean? Shh. Don't mention the, you know, do you know what I mean? Everything's a shush with Disney. Because like I said, from a very early age, right, we're programmed, yeah, subconsciously to keep quiet and don't say anything. Do you know what I mean? And it's especially enforced by people, right, that are on an agenda and that are within our communities. Do you know what I mean? Because the first thing a Freemason learns, and you've got to remember, Freemasonry, you're born into it, yeah, within the town. Yeah, my grandfather was my this, that and the other, my dad this, that and the other, right? So, and the first thing they learn in Freemasonry is shh, yeah, shush, right? And it's all about shush ups. You go to school, what's the first thing you learn? Don't grass your mates. If you grass, what does the teacher say? Because they're on the same agenda, believe me, they're the Freemasons, you know what I mean? Eastern Stars, yeah? Don't tittle tattle on your friends. No one likes a tittle tattle. So even then, the teachers are under directions to groom your kids that to be a tittle tattle is a bad thing. Do you know what I mean? And who's it bad for? It's bad for drug dealers. It's bad for anyone who's committing crime, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? And that serves the purpose. And if the people committing crime within your community are the Freemasons, yeah, then that's the perfect thing to groom into any community across the board, across the world, isn't it? Yeah. Don't grass, don't be a tittle-tattle. No one likes it. Boom, 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 da, da, da. Do you know what I mean? So no one does it and everyone follows it because everyone's saying it and conditioned to it. So that's all like, again, follow the crowd. You know, go to my forum and look up shush. You know, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. Mortgage advice. I think I've done this one, haven't I? But look at this, Mortgage Advice Bureau. And then what we got here, look, Jacking and Boas on the left, yeah. M for masonry. Do you see what I mean? How they hide their symbolism there? Look, Jacking and Boas left and right, yeah. And then it's an M for masonry. Mortgage Advice Bureau, yeah, right. Oh, yeah, I've done this again. This is the Masonic flag. I won't get into that again. Look, here it is. Can you see the square and campus? Yeah, an educational journey, yeah, of Aldershire. This is again, these are Freemasons, yeah. This is their schools, and again, when you're born into it, yeah, you're going to their schools. Do you know what I mean? And that's what it's all about, you know. But you can see the square and campus right there. Do you know what I mean? Look, here we go again. Look, Knights Templar Cross. You got the 4 square there. Look, right. And again, look, home of Blackheath and Bromley Harriers, right? And that's again the oh bloody hell, I forgot what it bloody is now. But again, it's the Masonic colours of Freemasonry, and you got, you know, the Knights Templar Cross right in the centre of it. It's all Masonic. Do you know what I mean? Again, look, yeah, more Masonic symbolism. Look, Brit set for mortgage hell 6.66, 666. Do you see what I mean? They can't get away from it. Again, look at this lampshade. See the square and compasses in it. Put a square within a square. Look, as above, so below, pyramids. Do you see what I mean? Yeah, and that's what you put in your house all the time. They do a lot for charity. I'm a Freemason. You'll be found. See, this is. I might have shown you somebody. I think I'm putting it into. I'll put it into the wrong one, but we'll see. We'll see. I'll carry on, and if it is like I've done this before, then I'll change it. But I know that I've got stuff in this folder that hasn't been said before. So yeah, this is, look, they do a lot for charity. Yeah, this is how profane people are. They actually believe stuff's for charity. Do you know what I mean? And then you go like, because I was obviously doing like a video like I'm doing now, and I was doing it live. He said, I'm a Freemason, you will be found. Well, I'm here, you know, they know where I am, you know, they've talked about murdering me enough anyway, so, you know, that's another story. And then here, you are wrong and incorrect. Incorrect information. I am a high-ranking Freemason. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I'll put Freemasonry as the virus. You know what I mean? Live debate in Freemasonry and corruption. You know what I mean? And then here we come with the old favourite. Look, you need medication, my friend. Again, look, you put this into your house. Look, you got the square and compass on the left side and on the right side. Yeah. So again, it's 666, and then above, look, you can see the 33 for the degrees. You see, and then you got the all-seeing eye in the drawer. But that's all I can see from here. But that's, you know, but again, look, the police are assisting in child grooming. Prove me wrong. Anyone, go prove him wrong. You can't, because they are helping and they are consistent with that. Do you know what I mean? Because they know what runs the pubs, they know what runs the clubs, and they know who they're standing with side by side when they're in that fucking, in that Masonic lodge. Do you know what I mean? I know. And if I can investigate that on my own, and I haven't got a police force, right? Yeah, I'm on my own, you know, basically, right? I've done all what I've done, right, over the years on my own, yeah. And if I can do it on my own, what the fucking use is the police force here? Why are we paying them pensions when they're not even doing their job? Do you know what I mean? Anyway, happy slaves are the worst enemy of freedom. And you are, anyway, everyone. You know what I mean? You know, if you're happy going along with it, then you know you're a problem. Do you know what I mean? You're not a solution. You're a problem. You know what I mean? If you're investigating, you know, and I'm sorry to say this, if you're investigating flat Earth, everyone know the Earth's flat all round. Does it matter? No. What matters is your own communities, you know, and start sorting out your own communities. Because if we all sort out our own communities and prove what the corruption is within that, because that's what I intend doing, yeah, and you can show that, and then if that goes on another 10 years, then you've got to question that, surely, haven't you? You know, why ain't no one being investigated? Like I said, that either the police are that thick as shit, or they're complicit in it because they're too scared to say anything because of the people of what they are within your communities. Do you know what I mean? And like I said, they then you class that as like, you know, because again, you haven't got to go global for your Epsteins and your Savills and all that. No one's saying shit like they did with Savile. Shh, don't say nothing, you'll lose your job. Shh, don't say nothing, you'll lose your life. Shh, doesn't say nothing. Do you see what I mean? Yeah, but that goes on within your communities. Do you see what I mean? That same shush. I can't. You know, I'm a police constable. I can't say nothing or investigate, and if I do, I'm warned off anyway, or I'm transferred because the people I'm investigating are top-ranking Freemasons within my community, and have a funny handshake, and I'm not allowed to investigate them. And that's what it's basically. So that ring of protection, that's why everyone in Freemasonry, that's in a police station, needs to be ousted out, because they're all looking after the people that are doing all the naughty stuff within your towns and your communities anyway, and they've got the say on it. I don't care who it is in today's society. If you're talking about anything and you ain't talking about Freemasonry, then you're just as bad as they are, because you're the one who's keeping shush, and they've programmed you to do that. Do you know what I mean? You know, so like I said, all public servants, yeah, regardless, should all be treated, you know, like with a hostile intent. You know what I mean? When they come round and knock on your door, are you a Freemason? How many of you are Freemason knocking on my fucking door? Do you know what I mean? That's all public servants, all working within the town halls. You know what I mean? Because they're just Masonic lodges. You know what I mean? So, you know, anyone who's a civil servant should be treated with a hostile intent, or as like a hostile witness, or or shouldn't be trusted, or anything like that. Do you know what I mean? And everyone should be talking masonry to everyone they meet, regardless. Every day people should, because the first thing is, right, people are making all these groups up, and and it's all divide and conquer. You don't know who to trust. The first thing you got to do is wake up the people within your community of what Freemasons are fucking doing. Yeah, and then you've got to start watching and investigating them. Do you know what I mean? Because the police ain't doing it. They're not looking at anything. They're the protectors of the elite. Yeah, they're all watching out for the Epstein and Savile and all the rest of it. They're all protecting them sort of people, yeah. And that power within your town, because they run all the hotels, they run all the shows, like your circuses and your fucking piers, and running up and down with the horses and all of that, yeah. They run all of that, the restaurants and everything, the clubs and the pubs, and they own it all, the leases. You know what I mean? If you do the research, you'll see that comes to a minority group, yeah. If you find it, and it's astounding why no one is looking into it, to be honest. You know what I mean? Because if you know, if you know, let's put it that way. Do you know what I mean? And some people do, and they've been, they have been coming up on it, But like I said, it's when you do it, you got to be careful, because they will kill you. And the Freemasons say, well, why haven't they killed you yet? You know what I mean? Well, you can't kill someone when you've been talking about it for the last fucking 30 years. Do you know what I mean? And like I said, people, they got the people. There's so many people now that are, involved in my stalking, by freak Masons. I've got them following me from one end of the fucking UK to the other. Do you know what I mean? Numbers, recordings, the fucking lot. Do you know what I mean? And it doesn't matter where I've gone, they're always turned up within a second. Whether them people are Freemasons or not is yet to be determined by the murder investigation, if you get what I mean. Do you see what I'm saying? And that's where it counts, you see, because I ain't got to investigate fuck all. Do you know what I mean? The evidence is there, and it's not. And even if the police don't do it, a funny handshake ain't going to cover up video evidence or fucking verbal. You know what I mean? And like I said, people, when they're sitting on their little beds, and they're looking at a noncy fucking life sentence, with a recommendation of 25 years, and they've got family and children, you know what I mean? How many people do you think are going to keep shush? None of them. They're going to be talking like fucking canaries, do you know what I mean? But that's another story. But the thing is, like I said, when I say these Freemasons are gang stalkers, that's what they are. And when I say they're drug dealers, that's what they are. And when I say they're rapists, that's what they are. And there's no getting away from that. And when I say they're perverts followers, that's what they do. They pervert following me. You know what I mean? They're perverts, they're following me and stalking me. You know what I mean? And they're using all these other little devices to fucking, make, it don't matter what I do. I can't go too much into it. I've got videos and it'll all come out anyway. Do it because let me tell you now, you little freak Masons, if you think this ain't coming out, it fucking is. Do you know what I mean? I don't give a fuck who you are, where you are, or what you're doing. It's coming out. You know what I mean? because I've made one decision in my life. I knew you weren't ever going to give up, right? And you haven't, you know what I mean? They've never given up, you know what I mean? So I'm not going to give up. I'm going to make you perjured individuals, which I've done. I'm going to record you. I'm going to film you. I'm going to use your own tools against you. And that's what I've done. And you think you've got all good friends and you're all good, but you killed too many people around this area, you know what I mean? So while you're sitting there having a drink in a pub, I've got films on you. I can sit in here now, but I've got people in the pub fucking filming you. Do you know what I mean? And I don't care what pub, you know, I could name the pubs now, but I don't need to. Do you know what I mean? But you're being watched, you're being filmed, and fuck you and fuck everyone else. Do you know what I mean? We know who you are, and you're not liked. You know, you can put it all on to me. I don't care. Blame me, blame anyone. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, there's people working for me, yeah, that are doing it free. I haven't got to pay them heroin or cocaine or anything else. They're doing it because you've killed their fucking family members. Do you know what I mean? There's a big difference, you know what I mean? And anyone out there that can do the same, yeah, they're the people you've got to recruit. There's a lot of people out there that have children, yeah, that have mums and dads not in their life anymore because of drug dealers, yeah. But what you've got to show is, you're not got to show the local drug dealer that, you know, trying to feed his habit with all his friends, you know, they are like got an illness, do you know what I mean? They can't stop it, but the government ain't going to relieve that and make places where they can go get their drugs, blah blah blah, because they want that chaos within your town, and it gives their little Masonic police something to do. This is why they always let criminals out half term and that, do you know what I mean? Because they arrest everyone, yeah, put them all in jail, then there's no one to be arrested or there's no work to be done. So they say, oh, I know, we're now going to let out the criminals halfway through their terms or give them early parole to let them back on the street, because then they know they reoffend, and then it gives their police something to do again. Do you see what I mean? Because they cause the chaos within your communities, you know what I mean? I forgot what I was saying now. Yeah, so no one's really got a light or shined a light on these Freemasons within my community and what they've been doing for the last 30 years. Do you know what I mean? But I know what they've been doing, and I just thought, carry on, get on with it, do what you need to do. It doesn't bother me. Talk about me behind my back. I may not be there, but my fucking recorder's there. Do you know what I mean? And I've picked up, you know, I've got them talking about putting me away for 30 months. I've got fucking people talking about killing me, talking about having an accident, kick, you know, knocking me off my bike. Hopefully one of the lads can, you know what I mean? All of it, mate, all of it, you know what I mean? If you're, you know, if they, like I said, if they got to kill me, kill me. I haven't got to give a fuck about it, because at the end of the day, I'll be in peace that I was in peace before I was fucking born, and these cunts got me from the age of 18 or whatever and been hassling and stalking me, do you know what I mean? But the thing is, the difference is with these people, they think everyone's on their side and they're not, you know what I mean? There's a lot of people that hate them, you know what I mean? And they're going to find that out, the things that, you know, but that's another story, you know, like I've got, you know, like, oh, I do what I say stuff, but I can't. Anyway, it's another story. Anyway, let's get on with this. Witnesses and should be trusted organisations. Right. Again, you know, because, you know, like this vote and rubbish, you know what I mean? What they get us to do, the votes and all that, do you know what I mean? We need to wake people up. You know, people are still going down to the voting station, aren't they? Do you know what I mean? And they're, you know, they're believing in the vote. The vote don't work. The people that are put in power within your communities that are supposed to be elected and picked are all got the money and the backing from Freemasonry and their money. Do you know what I mean? And that's all it is. And the Freemasons are having their meet, and they're going, who can we put in a position of power? Boom, boom, boom. As long as it look good and we can manipulate them, it doesn't fucking matter. So long as we keep the power. Do you know what I mean? But they never put themselves up front, or who's responsible for that, you know, or what do you call it? Like, you know, they're never up front. Do you know what I mean? That's like Al Capone, for instance, back in the day, yeah? Had all the politicians in his pocket, the judges, the lawyers, because of the money, yeah? And people are corruptible. And that's still going on today. That's not fucking changed. And it's Freemasonry. Do you know what I mean? You know? He had soup kitchens and everyone respected him for it, even though he was murdering everyone and controlling everything. Obviously, they don't do it so much now, you know. Obviously, it was called Gunchester and all of that malarkey, but they've learned to work together now, you know. The only people who are more like getting shot are the profane people, you know what I mean? And, you know, the profane families, but everyone else, they're working together, you know what I mean? And it's all coming through the lodge. believe, because if you ain't working for, again, if you look at the crime, like I don't want to say too much again, but if you watch certain videos on YouTube of crime lords, they tell you, do you know what I mean? They say you're either working for us, and if you in, and they shrug their shoulders, do you know what I mean? Because they know if you're not working for them specific people, regardless of where you are, and they're networking through Masonic lodges, then you're a dead man or a dead girl or whatever, you know what I mean? And it's as simple as that. Again, like I said, so apart from, distracting us of looking through the, to the Ukraine, the flat earth, do you know what I mean? We must be looking to what is it first. We must be talking about Freemasonry, waking people up to Freemasons within our community, and find out and get people interested in what is actually running our communities. Who is in control of the parish councils? Do you know what I mean? Who's actually got the agenda behind that? Who's running our Cub Scouts? Who's running our Sea Cadets? You know what I mean? All of that. Who's running the Salvation Army? All of them little groups. You know what I mean? You'll find that's all to do with Freemasonry. The whole fucking lot. Don't matter where you look, it's all to do with Freemasonry. Go to your local churches. Look at my local church, full of Freemason symbolism. On the slates, Prince Charles and all this crap. You know what I mean? The Masonic Lodge this and the Masonic Lodge that, and then you go to the organ, and it's all Masonic symbolism on it of 666. Do you know what I mean? So it's and they got the other emblems on the end of the bloody pews. Do you know what I mean? Where it's the Royal Order of bloody Royal Arch Freemasons and the rest of it. Crazy, all in the church. It's everywhere. It don't matter where you look, they're involved in it, and it never ever ends. Never. But anyway, I'm rambling. I should be going through these lot here. Oh, no. Yeah, look, here we go. Look. See, they had their own symbol, see? And again, this is just from someone online, And if you read their forums, you'll learn a lot more about Freemasonry and the comments they make about themselves than you ever will talking, all day long, with any person in the community. Do you know what I mean? But they seem to talk a lot on their own, Do you know what I mean? So there we go. Let me carry on. I was in the Freemasons to Lodge number 1. It depends on how deep you get into it. Look, Blue Lodge Masonry goes to 3 degrees. Then you can branch off to York Rite or Scottish Rite. Scottish Rite is dark, as to where sacrifices do happen and other dark things. You see what I mean? And that's the thing. And then obviously someone said that I don't care. I'm not a Freemason anymore. I'm a Christian now. As a Mason, you worship Baal. So it tells you they're godlet, as mentioned in the Bible. Do you see what I mean? And if you look at the ritual books I've uploaded, and through them, it tells you, they're God Baal and all the rest of it. Do you know what I mean? So, there's no excuse that you can sit there and go, oh, the Freemasons are a charity. They're not, again, charity covers more corruption than anything. I mean, look at Jimmy Savile. He was a Freemason. Look what it covered up. And including his shush of 50 years shush up. Do you know what I mean? So don't tell me about, these are being a charity, all of it, like the guy I got today on the video, he went, he went by mistake, there's 36 degrees, Obviously it goes higher than 36 degrees, but he went, 36 degrees, 33, he went, there's 36 degrees, there's higher, I was talking to him about it, I was just saying, I was just seeing if Freemason's good or not, but, he seemed genuine. But again, like I said, there's 2 sides to Freemasonry. You've got the good side, which is the ring of protection, and then you've got that inner core that are the rotten ones that are doing all the nasty stuff within your community. That are running your fucking nightclubs, dealing your drugs in the community, and all the rest of it. And they're doing that on an agenda from the people above. Do you know what I mean? The Rothschilds and all the rest of it. Do you know what I mean? Because it's big money. What's this? A good man made better by Freemasonry. Master moron named Steve Carson sent me this private message this morning, and I apologise for this foul mouth, but I have shown the hypocrisy and the vulgarity. Oh, and these vulgar symbols of innocent lambskin apron wearing frauds. And check out the praying hands avatar that graces his homepage. Yeah, and then there it is. Look, congratulations, you've been officially blocked from another Masonic page because you're a F and pussy. Go find your goat and F it. Hard, you know, talented ass clown dipshit. F it. I hear Biden loves a good da 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 da. But that comes from a Freemason. Do you see what I mean? This is how they, you know, and again, you know, you can go all day long. I'm going to show you a little bit more about what sort of messages you get, you know. And again, look, here's the, you know, hobbies. There are special interest lodges you can find in Freemason throughout the country to enrich your social calendar, right? Look, from football to rugby, right? So they've got, you know, again, here, if you look, all football teams, local, yeah, your community football, right? You look, yeah, and the people that are getting picked, yeah, are Freemasons, right? Yeah, go to your local rugby club. You know, like here we've got, say, Broadland, that's full of Freemasons, you know, and they're playing it, you know what I mean? And again, if you look behind of who the Broadland is, you'll find out, you know, what your community is and who's running it, you know, who's the power behind it. Do you know what I mean? And it's all Freemasonry. It don't matter where you're looking. You know, I've got a couple of gang stalkers coming from that Broadland rugby club. It's fucking unreal. But that's another story, do you know what I mean? You know, but they think they're clever, you see what I mean? They're stupid enough to use their own faces. They're stupid enough to use their own cars. Do you know what I mean? But anyway, that's another story. But again, look, military, right, and emergency services, you see. So again, when I say they're first responders, you know, I get an ambulance turn up here, I want a witness to get in that ambulance with me and make sure they're profane, because there's no way I'd get in an ambulance here, because I know obviously some of the ambulance drivers here are Freemasons, yeah, and I've even had ambulances drive past here with bloody drug dealers waving out the window to me, and that's another true story, as I can prove, you know, but that's another story. But so if you've got ambulance drivers here, right, shifting people in the ambulance or giving lifts to people who are dealing drugs, what the fuck is going on? Do you know what I mean? And that's a fact. That's me telling you a fact. That's an ambulance driver driving with a drug dealer in the fucking ambulance. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. What they're doing, whether it's deliveries or he had a genuine reason to be in there, but when they knew it was me passing or they were passing me, he came out the back and put his head beside her as she was driving, as a woman, by the way. Yeah, I know who she is. I know who he is. But that tells me what's controlling them fucking ambulances. Are they delivering drugs or what? I don't fucking know. You see what I'm saying? That's powerful information that I just gained by that. Do you know what I mean? You see what I'm saying? And this is what you got running your community. But because they're respected or in with the crowd, they get away with it and no one's looking to them, you know. Again, the military, they own all the military. Do you know what I mean? This is what I'm saying. So when they give an order, if I'm a field marshal and I'm telling my captains and my sergeants to go and attack that town at this precise moment, that's what they're going to fucking do. And they're going to follow them orders, just like they did in Germany. Do you know what I mean? But they're not doing it through Freemasonry, of course. They'll be doing it as captains and all of this. But behind them orders will be a Freemason giving that orders that have come up down from the elite. Because if you look at anything like Charge of the Light Brigade and all them different units and armies, they were all Freemasons, all to do with Freemasons. All the leaders, you know, Captain Custard and all the, you know, Colonel Custard and all of them, you know, them cowboys and Indians and all that malarkey, all to do with Freemasonry. You know what I mean? Any army that was attacking anything or trying to gain ground is all Masonic wars. You know, military lodges. Yeah, go to the next one. Yeah, here we go. Look, football lodges. You see? And the only people these Freemasons pick when there's a football team, yeah, is their own people. You know, you're going to get picked quicker than lightning if you're in Freemasonry than if you're a profane person. Do you see what I mean? And they make sure they control that situation, the local football team, the local rugby team. Do you know what I mean? And they control it because then they've got the narrative on it. You know, here they are, look here, set up, look, the rugby team, look, you see? So you imagine that every football team and rugby team, and we're not just talking rugby team and football teams, I'm talking like Sea Scouts, the Cubs, Army cadets, you know what I mean? All of that is all controlled by Freemasons, do you know what I mean? Because they want the narrative and the control of everything. Do you know what I mean? Again, classic cars. It doesn't matter where you go, whatever you go to, a fete, a gala, anything like that, it's all organised by Freemasons because they're the community, they're the hub of your community. Do you know what I mean? And they're there, right, to make sure you, as a profane person, behave yourself and that you're distracted by their bread, their water, and that you will always remain a fucking slave that will never, ever in a million years work out that they're a corrupt crime lord gang living within your town or city, especially an army, you know what I mean, that can rise up within minutes and fucking exterminate you because they've got all the guns, you know what I mean? Like I said through my other videos, all their police constables are signed off on all the guns what they get within the lodge. Again, you can get that online. Yeah, I can go to a video now and a guy's talking about it, you know what I mean, where they're taking a lot of guns away from profane people in gun clubs just for stupid reasons. Do you know what I mean? And the guy is online, not just him, there's a few of them, and they're complaining about that because there's an agenda. Take the guns away from the profane because then you can't shoot back or kill any Freemasons that are coming up on you to take you out of your house and eliminate you. Do you know what I mean? And that's why they're now taking the guns. Search it up. Prove me wrong. Look it up. You know what I mean? Look it up. Say UK gun licenses, yeah. Do it on YouTube, yeah. The geezer's talking about it, you know what I mean? Guns taken away. Do you know what I mean? Gun licenses be taken away, and you'll see. You know what I mean? That's all from the profane. You know what I mean? They ain't taking them away from the Freemasons. They'll keep their shotguns and their handguns, and because they're running the gun clubs anyway. Do you know what I mean? But anyone that they deem a fit, they'll stitch them up and take the gun away from them. You know what I mean? Serious. Because they don't want to be shot at, do they? We're so under defended ourselves. It's unreal, I tell you. You know what I mean? Right, what's this one? The moves it will also limit to. Find it. Wait, I'm just ready. Oh yeah, look, as being for and run by younger members. The newest lodge, with an iconic number, will be run by younger members who will gradually fill the principal and progressive offices and attract young initiates. Yeah. Like I said, but they again, this is not an old fuddy-duddy, you're born into it, do you know what I mean, into this malarkey, do you know what I mean, and they're the ones you've got to watch, the ones that are born into it, because they're groomed from a very, very early age, and all you little master masons that have been asked to join the lodge as a ring of protection, yeah, if you think you've got special blood in you or anything else, that you're in with the elite families, yeah, and that you're going to be protected, you're cannon fodder. You know what I mean? You'd be the ones that'll be saying, oh, do you want to take advantage of this army unit and go to war? Remember, you've got your little password and your little sign of hell of distress within war, so you'll be more, you'll be more safer than the profane people we're sending you with. But you can you'll be in charge of 100 men and all this bollocks. You know what I mean? Because that's what they do, you see, and they send it, their ring of protection. The people that keeps these people in the comfortable position of where they're not being investigated, and they're standing there going, no, we're good people, they're all right. I've never seen that go on in my lodge. Do you know what I mean? But all of you little people that are a ring of protection for these people, you're going to be gone as quick as us, the profane, because you're nobody, you're nothing. You know what I mean? You're just being asked to join, not because you're of anything special. You've been asked to join because you're a ring of protection that can say, well, it don't go on within my lodge. You know what I mean? My brothers are good, and all it is a ring. We meet, we have a meal, and all of that bollocks. But you don't know what goes on the other side of the coin, because if you tell me that you know what's going on in another lodge or another chapter, then you're a liar, and you're a liar because they don't tell you. They're all separate, and they are. So if you've got a chapter full of career criminals, how are you going to know if they are or not? You're going to look at them as a brother, because that's what you're trained to do. And like I said, you're all ordered to follow orders, because you're in an army and you're in a gang, and you know you are. You know what I mean? And you're under threat as well to do as you're told, because you took your silly little vow. You know what I mean? And you've got your little obligation to your brothers and sisters within your community. But we know the brothers and sisters, don't we? You know what I mean? You're the ones that, you're the business owners that keep putting the prices up and making sure we keep fucking poor. Do you know what I mean? While you run around our neighbourhoods looking like you're legends. But anyway, let's move along. Again, look, in almost all parts of the country, look, see, they tell you can find a lodge for those with the involvement, background and interest in the Scouts. Now, if you look at my video with the Scouts, yeah, and what they did in America to like over, I think it was like 500,000 kids, all the Scoutmasters were Freemasons and they abused them all. Do you see what I mean? So how do you know? This is the thing, but no one questions it. And when you look it up, yeah, you know, you can see them like posing with their kids and that. You know, the Scoutmasters with their Masonic aprons on. You know, let me show you. I'll just go to that. Because I think that's a very important video that just shows you the power of their shush up, because they control the narrative of the mainstream media and everything else. Do you know what I mean? And it's well worth, you know, just looking at the video, you can look at it and the way it, you know, how I like move it up through the, where is it? Hey, what the bloody hell? Oh yeah, there it is. Here it is. Look, Masonic Increase an Army, Part 8, yeah? And I show you, hello, here we go. Hopefully, I've got a new little tool. With the white collars. Show me the white collars. That's show you what way. Black Eagle Lodge. How they get these Freemasons, these adults here, the Freemason adults, are already working and looking for potential brothers. And you're going to watch it yourself because I don't want to spoil it. Which that was someone. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. That was, but in the end, you'll see that in the papers. Yeah. In the UK, that looks exact. Yeah, even though they're all Scoutmasters, got all these photographs, you know, standing with children and everything. But when it comes down to the 800,000 people, kids that got abused by their Scoutmasters, you try finding in a newspaper or anything else about Freemasonry, and nothing is mentioned, not a thing, because they're the best people that shh and keeping things quiet. Do you know what I mean? And that's what it's all about, you know. But anyway, brothers to subdue their passions when it comes to anti-social media these days. Plus putting on Twitter ramblers. Oh yeah, this is the NFL thing. I don't want to get into that. Oh. Where am I? Oh, it's the NFL. Yeah, no, wait a minute. I'm on the wrong one here. Aha, here we go. So yeah, so if you go to that and like Masonic Increase in Armies, yeah, on Part 8, obviously I show this in a lot of my videos anyway, you know. You got to just look at Masonic Army and Kids or something, shush up kids on my wall. You know, it's 3 parts, you know, where they shush up all the paedophilia, you know, and it goes on and on and on. But again, yeah, this is what. But again, if you want to get the control of children, then you work with children, don't you? You know, you ain't going to get a paedophile that's going to go work like in an adult industry. He's going to want to work in a children's industry. He's going to want to become someone that works in a care home for children. He's going to want to work in a nursery, you know, depending on, you know, whatever his preferences. Do you know what I mean? So he's going to go for that, you know what I mean, and keep on trying to get into that all the time. This is why they get, you know, that infiltration, you know. Together these lost from the kindred associate. I set up a Freemason rugby team in my spare time because I felt like I wanted to show the community that is a lot more than just men in aprons behind closed doors. That's a load of bollocks, you know what I mean? You know, I'm not going to go on about you know, like our Broadland, you know, rugby club or some of the football clubs around here, you know what I mean? All gang stalkers, do you know what I mean? But again, this is where they, you know, again, they're writing, you know, it's paid off as we've played local games and shown the value of Freemasonry, as well as making some great friends along the way. But if you look into it, the rugby teams, they're all full of Freemasons, the whole fucking lot of them. Do you know what I mean? Because they're directed to do that, to look like they're good in the community, the specialisation and all of the fucking rest of it. And the people that don't fit, they oust them out the team. Do you know what I mean? You go, look, just do it. Just research it. You'll see, yeah? You know what I mean? Football teams full of Freemasons, and the only ones getting picked for the game or where they want to be is fucking Freemasons. Do you know what I mean? No profane people are getting into the League of Sports, boxing or anything else unless you're a Freemason or working for that fucking people that are called themselves the Freemason Nation. You know what I mean? That controls the world. Oh yeah, I did this one. Look, see again, look, Daily Mail crime reporter Stephen Wright, who has a track record of protecting powerful connected paedophiles, yeah. Staffordshire police heads of crime are now investigating Esther Bacon, who accused John Henry of abusing her as a child. This will end in tears, which it did, and I'll prove this. I think I've shown this case, so I'm not going to go through with it again. But again, she come up forward because she's got nothing to hide. Do you know what I mean? So, So there you go with that. From the last post about the risks of whistleblowers run, and this is what happens when you're a whistleblower like me. Follow on from the last post about the risks of whistleblowers run, and that's why we owe it to them to listen. Here yet is another case of a mysterious death of somebody getting the truth out. And if you do get the truth out, you're dead. Do you know what I mean? Simple as that. They don't. This is what they do, and this is how they've controlled the narrative all the time. Yeah, within any town or city, yeah, that is controlled by these Freemasons. Yeah, you got someone like me, for instance. They don't want me speaking about anything, so they try and kill it. They want you dead. Do you know what I mean? Like I said, they've talked about it many, many times. You know what I mean? I've got it on record. But. And if they can't kill you, they do it by an accident. Like I said, if I got run over by an Indian, yeah, on holiday, even though he's working for the lodge, people go, oh, he got run over by a holiday maker. Do you know what I mean? So anyone who's had an accident or someone killed by an accident, you want to look into it and ask it if it was a Freemason or not, because that's how they're getting away with murder, making it an accident. Do you know what I mean? Because accidents aren't questionable. Do you know what I mean? Oh, he was killed by, do you know what I mean? He was killed by this, that, and the other. Do you know what I mean? Which is wrong. You see what I mean? And we don't look into it because we take the narrative and the trust of what the Freemasons say to us, which I mean the police, yeah? We take that as face value. Do you know what I mean? But there's an agenda behind it, whether that's to gain that person's property, it could be anything. I don't know. There's an ends to a means why they make these accidents happen. Do you know what I mean? But most of the time, it'll be on the whistleblower. Because once you shut someone up, like Lady Diana, shh, you can't. You know what I mean? You got no. See what I mean? JFK. Oh yeah, all these secret societies and all of that. You know what I mean? Again, another one that shit. But they're doing that on the low. These are the high scales. They're not doing that just. As high scale assassinations, what we know about. They're doing that on the low scale. Do you know what I mean? Within your towns, within your cities, because you've upset a Freemason somewhere along the line, yeah? They might get someone else to pay for that. Do you know what I mean? And have an accident. And you think, oh, it's just some holidaymaker run someone over or something like that. Do you know what I mean? But it ain't. It's someone doing a fucking job for the lodge and doing a favour. Do you know what I mean? I've gone on about it before. But, yeah, she tried to tell the truth. Yeah, Randy Boyne. You know what I mean? Again, yeah, I did do this. I think I have done this. Like in the background, look, you can see the square and calm piss. Yeah. See, look. You know what I mean? Again, showing us that Freemasonry is dominant in another country, because that's not the UK, by the way. Oh. This is what a Freemason sent me. Look. We let this kid paint a box using his feet today. You know what I mean? Again, it goes back to, and obviously you can't click me into it, but again, this goes into it. Look, he enjoys his life, this little boy, more than likely painting the boxes. So how do you euthanize someone who's between 1 and 12, is it? At the beginning of this video. Crazy, isn't it? And I said, obviously, why mock him? We help him. We help all the children. This is a Freemason talking to me here, by the way. He always played, but, well, whether he's a Freemason, he might not be. Do you know what I mean? Again, it's not proven, is it? You know what I mean? But that's the sort of conversations I have with Freemasons online. Apparently they're Freemasons, but I don't know if they are Freemasons or not. Again, look, Indiana Masonic home kid invented the Dorito. Oh yeah, I've done this post as well. See, baby. Right. Again, it's Indiana Masonic home. West was born in Indianapolis. Masonic home in Franklin. Kids react to drag. Look, right. I'll leave that just in case you did want to read that. I didn't know Doritos was invented by Freemasonry, like everything else. You know what I mean? So kids react to drag. Yeah. Again, this is another thing that goes on. Yeah. We're fighting about this. Yeah. With these people in drag and all that. But again, where we're jumping out on these people, why aren't we jumping out on the drug dealers, which are doing a lot more damage within our communities than any of these other sort of people? Do you know what I mean? And I'm not trying to get away from anything what's worse or what's better or whatever. But if you've got a main problem, and it is, and there's no one who can deny it, that problem is drugs, why ain't no one jumping out on these drug dealers or naming and shaming them with cameras? You know what I mean? Why is there a big shush up around it? You've got to question it, haven't you? Do you know what I mean? You've got to. Mad. So here we go. Dress up like this since I was your age. That's what he's now saying to the child. Look, you see? Crazy. Why do you have makeup and lipstick on and glitter? You know what I mean? That's a boy. They're putting that across. Now this is, again, I think I've done some of these, but if I haven't, or I have, I'm sorry. But this is behind 10 Downing Street. Look, this is what number 10 Downing Street, the ruling, supposedly where all the rulings come from. Yeah, number 10, our government. What is behind it? What's behind that door? The square and compass floor. Look, square and compass floor. The mosaic floor of Freemasonry. You see what I mean? Look, amazing, isn't it? So who do you think runs Parliament? Freemasonry. You know what I mean? It's there. Look, they show you. They brag. They love to brag about this stuff. Again, look. See? Freemasonry. Look, they're not putting that there for nothing. That's in there because of a reason. Because that's what runs your town. That's what runs your city. And they answer up to the Masonic Lodge. You know what I mean? Because number 10 Downing Street is a Masonic Lodge. You know what I mean? And there it is, look, 10 Downing Street. Freemasonry runs this towns, it runs the cities, you know what I mean? And like I said, their Masonic lodges are their gang huts, are their strongholds, or their castles, whatever way you want to, you want to name it. Do you know what I mean? And here's another Freemason, look. See how they talk to you, look. You are a disgusting little man. Actually, well, I'm not a man. Well, no, of course I'm not. I'm in the north. I'm profane, isn't I? There's a big difference. Do you know what I mean? Well, according to them, there is anyway. You are barely even a mouse. You know what I mean? Now turn from your evil and foolish ways, because if you continue along this path, you will invite further pain and suffering to your present life and to subsequent lives. See, subsequent lives, see, because they don't deal with just today, tomorrow, next week, and when you die, they do other families. Do you know what I mean? They do generational. Do you know what I mean? Because these people you're dealing with, in case you didn't know, yeah, and you do the history on them, like I said, their families, yeah, their lords, the dukes and the earls they look after or whatever, you'll find their generations go back, their shops and all what they own goes back generations and generations. Do you know what I mean? But they're never there up front. Do you know what I mean? They're always in the background, never up front. So here we go. Look, too many common denominators, yeah, and convictions relating to Masonic corruption throughout the world. P2 Lodge is a classic. I'll leave that and you can read that yourself. You know what I mean? That's me just having an argument with him. Again, look, this guy here. Oh.
You don't know what you're doing when you're on it. You can believe you can fly. And that's why I ran away from Doncaster, because I became addicted to it. called Spice. Yeah, they don't sell it here, mate.
How did you come off it then?
I just got on a train and left. I knew, you know,
Just like that?
yeah, I knew it was poison. And everyone around me was using it. We were all homeless. And, you know, when you can't sleep, 2 drags of that and you're asleep. You know what I mean, mate?
How did you end up homeless, Papa?
My partner cheated with my brother when I put him homeless, and that was my situation. I left, I packed in my work, and I hit the bottle. And here I am 15 years later, all around the country, because no one will house me. They always say wherever you go, you've got no local connection.
And there it is. And I did that in my video earlier on. You've got no local connection, but that's just a get out clause for the fucking now. He's saying that you've got no local connection, but they'll haul in 3 coach loads of fucking like indigenous species and home them like that. Do you know what I mean? So where's the fairness of it? Do you know what I mean? Because I mean, if you've got 3 coach loads of people turning up, the first thing that should be coming out of the councillor's mouths is what's your local connection? And they haven't got no local connection except the Masonic Lodge that is going to put them up in them hotels of their brothers. Do you know what I mean? Because their hotels, you know, like I said, when they're getting the money off the government again to put these people in their hotel rooms, you know what I mean? They then go, yeah, thanks, brother. You put all them in my, I've earned money off there. There's your cut into the lodge. Do you know what I mean? Getting their dues. So it just goes into the lodge. Do you know what I mean? They all get paid off for it, you know, and it's satisfied their agenda. They've got community, you know, they've got chaos within the community. They've got people that are on the streets that can't be homed, that are going to complain and play up. So that'll give us powers to arrest them and, you know, keep them in that society. So we're always forever keeping them on probation or in prison. Do you know what I mean? And shit like that. And that's all it's about. You know what I mean? So how are people that are coming over by the coach load, you know, in boats or whatever else that may be, yeah, how are they getting preference over anyone else when everyone knows when you go to your council, if you're homeless, the first thing they ask you is, what's your local connection? Do you know what I mean? And it's just mad, isn't it? All right, let me carry on.
So I was brought up in children's homes, so I've got no local connection nowhere. I've got no...
And again, that goes to what happened if people are orphans, yeah? Because their mum and dads have died on drugs or anything like that. Do you know what I mean? How can they have a local connection to anyone if they're orphans? You see what I mean? So straight away, you're being prejudiced against certain people, you know what I mean? You know, and I'm not, you know, these indigenous that come over by the coach load, why not? If they're being in war-torn countries, you know what I mean? There's not a family man, a mum or a dad that ain't going to take their kids away and flee that. Do you know what I mean? No one, you know, don't care who it is. You know, if there's war here, everyone who's got sense is going to flee it, isn't they? Do you know what I mean? So I don't blame them for that, but what I do blame, yeah, is when the government here, yeah, is advertising in their country, and it's all done by Freemasons, yeah, to make that chaos possible within all the towns and the cities within the UK. Because while we're concentrating on all of these, the Freemasons once again are getting away with an agenda within towns and cities, and we're not even fucking seeing it. Do you know what I mean? It's crazy. Because again, it boils down to keep making problems, multiple problems, because that distracts all the people away from what we're fucking actually doing within that town and within that city and as a community, because they don't live in it. You know what I mean? I can go show you uptown everywhere, this, you know, this, that and the other, yeah? And then I can come in and go into certain estates and you'll see nothing, because they're all Freemasons that live on them estates. You know what I mean? Because they don't have to fucking deal with it. Because there's no one moving into them estates. Do you know what I mean? Because they control it all. Do you see what I mean? Because they've already been bought out by all the Freemasons. So these people that come into your towns or cities ain't getting anywhere. Do you see what I mean? So, yeah. Anyway, let's carry on.
No identification, yeah. I'm on some medications, you know, for my mental health. I'm poorly. I've got a lot of injuries. I'm on painkillers. Yeah, I broke my spine, shattered my heel and my ankle all in one go. They kicked me, I fell off a roof sleeping rough. I went for a wee at night and I went to wee off the edge. And when I went to wee, I walked off. And I was in hospital for nearly a year. and I had to learn to walk again.
And Piper, you know, being homeless, what's the nicest thing someone has done for you?
This man there, the street cleaner, gave me £50 for Christmas.
What?
Swear now, cash. That man there
We're gonna...
gave me £50 for Christmas.
Okay, that's all.
And there you go. You see, it's the people that are profane that do all the charity work. Do you know what I mean? You see Freemasons, get them to do anything. They ain't doing nothing for no one unless they're getting paid for it. You know what I mean? Freemasons don't go out of their way unless they're getting money. Do you know what I mean? And they're earning off it. Do you know what I mean? That's why their charity was said by an actual judge that they're not a charity, because it was all self-serving unto themselves. And remember, most of their charity money they get comes off the government anyway. Do you know what I mean? Or through us going to their charity events and putting the money into their coffers. Do you know what I mean? Well, besides, let's forget that they own every lease within your town. Let's forget that they own every shop or businesses within your town. Let's forget that, any major big building, like your banks and everything else, they own all of that as well, but they don't put nothing back into the community. Freemasonry takes. And the thing is, like I said, you just got to listen to the people, that I interview on the streets all the time, that are right across my, my YouTube channel or my Facebook. And they tell you, what I mean? They're just self-serving, what I mean? They don't give nothing to the community. They take. And all they care about is money. And they all got millions and billions of pounds, do you know what I mean? And like I said, if you do the research on certain businesses, you'll see that they own 500-600 different businesses within your community. Do you know what I mean? Because they're well established and been about, their families have been about for hundreds of years. Do you know what I mean? And they're not going to relinquish that or nothing. They don't, they don't have to work, really. None of them do. Why they do, I don't know. It's a bit fit. That's some of the things I need to work out, you know what I mean? But, that some of them do work very hard and they've got all the money, but they give nothing to the profane or put anything in. And they just keep that chaos going, you know what I mean? Which is just madness. But anyway, that's another story.
Really nice.
I'm serious, Paul.
And how did you feel when you done that?
I cried my eyes out.
Yeah.
Cried my eyes out, mate.
Oh, that's so sweet, man. And what's the meanest thing someone has done to you?
Knocked me two front teeth out. While I was put the sleeping bag. They didn't even speak English, and I know I'd never done no wrong to them, because they don't say no wrong to no one, I just tried to get by day and hope that things are going to get better. Honestly, I'm missing an appointment with my doctors. I've got a care worker with the council. I'm in touch with the mental health services, I'm in touch with the alcohol services, probation, do you know what I mean? I haven't missed an appointment for nothing, and they still won't give me just my own home and my benefits, do you know what I mean? If you see some scars on me, right, these are some of the...
And that shows you once again, the amount of years he's been on probation, with the council and all that. And you can go get the stories from anyone. And I've spoken to, so many people that are homeless, The councils don't help anyone. No one. Because they're on agenda not to help anyone. Do you know what I mean? Regardless of, they're not building no new homes or nothing. And again, say your town or your city is on a budget of £1,000, right? And you've got 100 people in that town, and that budget is for £1,000. That £1,000 is for 100 people. The councils now, right, have got 3,000 people with £100 budget. Do you know what I mean? Because they don't get any more money, and they certainly ain't spending any. And that budget anyway is all going into their pocket, and how much they can skim off the top, even though they're still running successful businesses along with the money and the pay they get as a civil servant. Going to, and eating well, eating and drinking their food well, do you know what I mean, all the time, but everyone else is never getting anywhere. And this is the thing, they own all the avenues of help. They own the councils, they own the probation, they own, do you know what I mean? But it's all done by design for those above and the elite. Do you know what I mean? And they keep the community fucking going wrong and rotten. So let's put it this way then, okay? If for the last 50 years, right, Freemasonry has been running every town and city within the UK, how's your town today? Do you know what I mean? How's your city getting along? Do you know what I mean? Because they're making it that way. Do you know what I mean? Because it's done by design. Because in the end, they're hoping you're going to vote or say, yeah, that's right, and then they're going to get their agenda. Do you know what I mean? Because they're making then creating them problems. You know what I mean? Because let's be honest, yeah, you're telling me the government can't build new houses for everyone, and they go, well, there's not enough land. They're fucking lying. There's loads of land everywhere you look. You know, there's land to build houses, and the houses that are being built anyway, if you look about, are all Masonically being built anyway for the Freemasons to home their own families in. Do you know what I mean? And that's all what's happening if you look at it, you know. But anyway, that's another story, and I shouldn't talk about this stuff because that never gets out, does it? You know what I mean? And all they do is delete your videos and don't let fuck all go. Anyway, here we go.
Small ones, man.
Where's that from?
You want to see? It's just through what's happened while I've been on the streets.
Oh, man.
Yeah, look, man.
So
Look at that. Look at the state of that. You know what I mean? There's some right idiots, mate. Yeah. And my hands are just as bad for having to go back. Do you know what I mean? And what do you do when you're on the street, man? You know what I mean? You've got people coming up, and what they do is steal from beggars. So they think...
Hold on. So regular people?
Yeah, they come up, they threaten you. Yeah, thank you, mate. Thank you, sir. He's a good friend of mine.
And you said people do horrible things to you. I mean...
Yeah, I've been peed on.
Yeah.
Spat at.
And you're a nice
Someone tried to set me on fire once, mate, 10 years ago. We was in a tent, someone poured petrol. I've been peed on.
Yeah.
I've been attacked for no reason. I'm just constantly insulted. And when the coronavirus kicked in, I had some guy coming up one day going, "You're a f***ing spreader, you're a f***ing spreader." Sorry to swear, you know what I mean? But I'm just saying what he said. I says, "What do you mean, mate?"
Blaming you for the virus.
Yeah, and I had 3 negative slips. And I'm saying, "Sir, look, I sleep on a sheet of ice every night, mate. Half the time, go to the toilet, come back, and my blankets have gone. Another homeless man's nicked him." Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then you get people coming up thinking you've got loads of money.
Yeah, a lot of people do that.
Do you know what I mean? Because what I do, I put a little tray out and I don't ask, okay?
Yeah.
Because I don't want to insult anybody, but if someone can afford to help me in any way, I'm a genuine guy, right? I'm flat. I can't find no way forward. There's no prospects, there's nothing, do you know what I mean?
So say...
And millions of people have lost their jobs as well.
Exactly.
So what chance do I stand? Do you know what I mean?
Say someone does want to help you, what can they do to help you? Please let us know.
I just want my own home.
Yeah.
My benefits sorted, fully furnished, with a cooker and a fridge. And
have the outreach teams try and help you.
Yeah, but they're saying that, I've got no local connection, and people that have lived here all their lives have had to wait 15, 20 years to get a 1-bedroom flat. So I'm doomed, and I know it. I'm doomed and I know it, bro. Yeah? So I'm just gonna ride it out until I have every last breath and take it as a gift. You see, I'm not leaving Hackney because I love it. And I love everyone in it. They've been so kind to me. Yeah, they kept me alive, bro.
If you had one wish, what would your one wish be?
A home of my own.
A home of your own. Would that sort everything out for you?
Yeah.
Okay, well look,
like I say, my benefits. I thought about buying a little hot dog stand and trying to make my own job, you know. And if it pays me rent, I'll be an happy man. I looked on the internet and I got a bit of a phone, right? And I looked on the internet, but it's £1,000 for a little hot dog cart. That'd do me, bro. You know what I mean? If I could pay me rent, I'd be a very proud man. You know, it'd be nice to be a pillar of the community rather than a skid stain on the underpants of society. Do you know what I mean, mate?
What's the one lesson you've learned being on the streets?
Trust no one.
Trust no one.
Yeah.
Wow. That's sad to hear, man.
I know.
What gets you through the tough times then?
Good people.
Is there some people out there?
Make me happy. No, not out there. Yeah, Hackney Central.
Yeah.
Amazing people, bro. I mean it. When I say they've kept me alive for 2 years, without a doubt, I don't have to ask any of them for a penny. Yeah? They automatically just help me. You know, they wake me up with breakfast. On the night time, pizza man brings me a pizza. Kebab man round corner. Do you want a kebab? Black Sheep coffee shop. No charge. As many as you can drink. for the rest of your life.
And Piper, people that are going to watch this video, what would your final message be to people? What would you want them to
Pay your bills. Yeah. And get to work on time.
Yeah. And
don't take nothing for granted and save as much money as you can for hard times, because believe me, you never know when they're coming.
You never know when they're coming. You know what I mean? And that's the Freemasons. Do you know what I mean? And they keep this agenda going. Because you're telling me that the governments can't buy or build new fucking houses. Do you know what I mean? This is the thing. They keep it going because it gives their police to come round, sort out it just keeps them employed, basically. Do you know what I mean? And they don't want a perfect society, because if there's a perfect society, Freemasonry won't be wanted anymore. Do you know what I mean? And they're just there, again, just to keep us poor, keep us consuming their shit. You know what I mean? And that's what it's all about, And there's people like these guys here, they just want a house. Do you know what I mean? Somewhere to live. Do you know what I mean? Good people, And that goes right across the board, everyone and anyone, you know what I mean? But like I said, the council ain't doing nothing. Do you know what I mean? They've got every avenue of help. Yeah, and you can talk all day. Again, I was talking, like I said, to people on the street, and that, they tell you, you know what I mean. There's no avenues of help anywhere, and the only reason that is because all the avenues of help are controlled by Freemasonry, and they're all fucking on that agenda to keep that society living in shit. Do you know what I mean? And that's all it is. Oh, baby. This guy here, look, Paul Merton, yeah, hospitalised, and that too. He was far too busy to develop paranoia, right? Yeah, this is Paul Merton, yeah, being gang stalked, yeah. Went there because he was desperate to finish writing Channel 4. Right? He calls embarrassing going to the therapy sessions with serious schizophrenics and people who had attacked strangers with knives, when his only problem, he thought, that his Channel 4 series had been postponed. Wait there. Wait a minute. Where the hell is it? My God. Oh yeah, here it is. Look, sorry, at the top, talking about him behind his back. Look, see, this is what they do, Freemasons. Look, he developed paranoia, thinking that people were talking about him behind his back, which is what Freemasons do. That you think that that everyone's talking behind your back. Yeah, I don't bother now. I've been through it all. Yeah, I don't give a fucking shit. Say whatever you want about me. I don't give two flying fucks, because I'm talking about you regardless of anything. Do you know what I mean? And I'm not the one who's sleeping with my kids. Do you know what I mean? I'm not the one raping people. Do you know what I mean? All of that, you know what I mean? All of that bullshit. You're the ones doing that. You're the one killing kids with your fucking drugs. You're the one killing people with your drugs. You're the ones that keep people living in shit and poverty, because you're fucking dealing drugs on the street, not fucking me. Do you know what I mean? And you're on that agenda. You're just gang stalking, drug dealing fucking nonsense. Do you know what I mean? But that's another story. Followed everywhere by Freemasons. One day he went to the corner shop and thought everyone was looking at him oddly, and the shopkeeper was reading things about him off his credit card. I remember coming out of the shop and running down the side road back to the flat, and I had a filmic image of all the curtains twitching. But that can be done and created by Freemasons. Your worst enemy is your own head. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And this is what Freemasonry relies on. Do you know what I mean? You're doing your own head in and thinking the worst. Do you know what I mean? And yet that's where it all sort of, what they rely on. Do you know what I mean? With their gang stalking for your own, to do your own minding. But anyway, that's another matter. But that's, that is him being gang stalked. Do you know what I mean? And here he is again, and it tells you about it. So look it up. Just put in Paul Merton, Freemasons, gang stalked. You know what I mean? But he was, Blood in Cement. I've gone through this. I've gone through some of these. Sorry if I'm repeating. Again, this is why Freemasonry does cornerstone ritual sacrifice, and the blood goes in the cement. And if you know anything about the 5 families in New York and all the blood they were doing, you know what I mean? They built the Trump Towers on it. Do you know what I mean? So that goes to show you something, doesn't it? Remember, Donald Trump was part of the 5 families in America, the mafia families, and they built the Trump Towers. So you imagine how many bodies are in that Trump Towers, or blood. Do you know what I mean? Oh yeah, my profane friends. Because it makes, and if you read it makes better mortar and cement, you know what I mean? So, and this is, you can see why, they've built all these, where they have these cornerstone sacrifices with the body interned in the cornerstone. Do you know what I mean? But that's another story. What's this here? Oh yeah, I just noticed again another place. Look, you see the circles? Look, see, and each one of them, look, is a square and compass. Look, see it? Square compass. You know what I mean? Every time. This is in obviously another country where, again, we're seeing Freemasonry as a most prevalent, wherever you go around the world, the most prevalent thing you'll see within society is Freemason symbolism, but they don't control nothing, of course. Do you know what I mean? Again, look, you got a backpack here, look. You know what I mean? Let's summon demons. I mean, who's selling and making this, do you think? It's owned by a Masonic company. So it's the Freemasons, again, desensitizing your children and yourselves to let's summon demons, because then it becomes natural. You look at anything now, people that wear t-shirts, back in the day it was this, that and the other. Now if you look at a child's t-shirt, it's got a skull on it, or something's being stabbed or killed on it. Do you know what I mean? Because that's the ones who are pushing it in society, all the time. They never ever stop. Crazy. What's this? Wait a minute. Oh, let me move that down. In religion terms, when the split between shamanic magical religion and moral-based religion took place, the dog became symbolic. A person who had once followed traditional shamanic religion had generally converted to the moral-based religious. Wait there, I don't know what this is about. Oh yeah, this is about fox hunting, yeah. And again, people keep complaining about fox hunting, but if you look into it, yeah, the people that are riding the horses, yeah, that never get arrested, because let's remember, fox hunting is illegal, and they're never, they're supposed to get £5,000 fines and have all their vehicles, and horses confiscated, because they're doing it with it, for acts of crime. Do you know what I mean? Within the act of crime, or whatever it's bloody called, yeah. So they, they're supposed to get the fines. They're supposed to lose their horses, lose the trucks, but they don't, because the people that are riding the horses are Freemasons and they're lords, dukes, and earls. Do you know what I mean? And that's why they're never answerable to anything. And this is why fox hunting goes on all the time. And the police turn up. The police don't turn up to arrest the fox hunters. They arrest the people trying to stop the fox hunters that are actually, trying to, take the law, if you can call it that, trying to uphold the law, should we say. Yeah, but you're not allowed to uphold the law because the police have to do that. But they ain't going to uphold the law against the lords, dukes and earls, because if they arrested them, they'll be in the police station, they'll make a funny little phone call, make a funny little handshake, and that arresting sergeant or whoever is going to get demoted. Do you know what I mean? Or, or lose his job within a couple of years because he's arrested a higher ranking Freemason. Do you know what I mean? And this is why they get away with it all the time. Look, and you've even got Fox Hunters Lodge, look, in Freemasonry. You see what I mean? Look, see, it was named in 1905. So again, you've got all that years of history, but for the last 15 years, it's been against the law to fox hunt, but it still goes on. And what did the police do? Nothing. Because look, it's a social ritual as are important to hunts, although many have fallen into this use. One of the most notable was the act of blooding, where they put the blood on you. Again, it's all about the blood, blah, blah, blah. But again, look, often as a young child, yeah, because again, it's for their children. You see what I mean? Again, this is what I say about gangsters and running the movie industry or the TV industry. We've got well-known gangsters here, look, standing toe to toe with people from the TV. You know what I mean? And this is what I'm on about. When you start researching on YouTube what the gangsters do and what they don't do, they tell you within your society what they control and what they don't control and who controls it. Do you know what I mean? That's all you got to do, and just put it together. It's not hard. Now what is this? Baby, here's a care home by Freemasonry. Now look at that ball they've put there, look, on the care home, look. So if you're a targeted individual, yeah, right, and you're getting interned in this place. How much of a gang stalk and see, the doctor that turns up, right, in your care, yeah, is going to be a Freemason. The people around you are Masonic. Do you know what I mean? So how does that stand? When I become an old person, right, and again I could go into the care system, who runs it and who looks after it and all the bollocks, yeah, because once you know what's going on, you know. Right, so I get put in an old people's home, right, and then people are now coming up. They've been indoctrinated to Freemasonry, yeah. How safe am I to not be gang stalked within that old people's home? Do you see what I mean? Yeah, that gang stalking shit that I've lived with for the last 30 years, yeah, with these perverts that follow me and all the rest of it, that's supposed to be legends within our community that control businesses, look like businessmen, and they're fucking all druggies, right? How the fuck am I supposed to go into a care home or a hospital? Do you know what I mean? Because obviously, again, my gang stalkers have worked within the hospital. Okay, so how am I supposed to go anywhere where these people ain't got an influence on? Do you know what I mean? Yeah, there's a conflict of interest, regardless of if I'm arrested by the police. That's a conflict of interest because the Freemasons fucking run it. Yeah, right. If I'm picked up by an ambulance, the Freemasons are running the ambulances. If I go into hospital, the Freemasons are nurses or doctors. Do you know what I mean? There's a conflict of interest of anything that get what they run, and like I said, they all avenues of help or anything like that is all run by Freemasons. You see what I mean? So how am I supposed to get past that? Do you know what I mean? And that's just gone by what I know of up to date. You know what I mean? And again, look, my mother was a resident here. Evidence of poor staff training in basic care needs. My mother had a lack of hydration picked up not only in the hospital but by our family, made complaints to Norfolk County Council and the home, but little is done. You see, your complaints never go anywhere because it's all the same thing all the time and they shush it up. Do you see what I mean? And this is what they do. All complaints, it don't matter what avenue of complaint you've got, all they're going to do is stall, delay and nothing. They just ignore you basically, like the fucking government. You know what I mean? Just ignore. Do you know why? Because you're fucking nobody. You're just a profane idiot. And that's the way they look at it. Do you know what I mean? Because what are you going to do? What am I going to do as a profane person if I've got, a problem with, and again, I can go into different aspects of certain things. Yeah. But if I've got a complaint about a chief inspector, right, and I serve a notice on him or something like that, what can I do about it? Nothing. No one's going to do anything about it because he's top of the chain. He's top of the food chain. Nothing. No one's going to listen to me. Do you know what I mean? He ain't going to listen to none of you because he's a chief inspector. Do you know what I mean? No one's going to say shit. Do you know what I mean? Because you've got no powers. What are you going to do? Nothing. The only people who have got a power over him, do you know what I mean? Or even if he's investigated for that one thing, they've got to prove it. Yeah, and they make out the investigations this and the investigations that. But there's no investigation going on. There's going to be a not proven, and he's going to carry on with his job anyway. Do you know what I mean? Because he's under that funny little handshake system. Do you know what I mean? What runs behind it, And that's so long as they keep their people in power and they're protected, and they are. They're well fucking protected. You know what I mean? Your complaints ain't going anywhere. You know what I mean? Again, that's how you're going to be treated, isn't it? How you're going to be treated, whether you're in a police station, whether you're going to be in a care home, whether you're in a hospital, that all goes down to the way you're going to be treated by these people. Do you know what I mean? And like I said, if you're profane, they don't give two fucking shits about you, and don't believe they are because they tell you they ain't. You know what I mean? And again, this goes back to them rounding up. Right, and I'm going to mention it because again, look, the German and the collaborators used paper records and local knowledge to identify the whatever, yeah? So what they're going to do when these Masonic lodges rise up, yeah? Right, because they ain't got to do it from Berlin no more, yeah? You know what I mean? And then go city to city or town to town because they're in every city and every town. You know what I mean? So they've only, once they decide to take everyone out, yeah, like me and all you other truthers, yeah, that are fucking causing a ruckus, yeah, because they want a reset, because they want you back thinking, you know, they want everyone back thinking the royals are all the best, the movie stars are all the greatest, and all the rest of it. You know what I mean? They're going to try and eradicate that. You know what I mean? By a war, and put someone like me on the front line. You know what I mean? Or there'll be a Freemason in charge of me, because I'll be a private. I'm never going to be a sergeant or anything else. And that sergeant's going to say, you're up front, you're leading the squad, and you're going to take the first bullet. Do you see what I mean? And that's how they eradicate people like that, you know. So you've got to be very careful who you go to war with, you know, regardless of anything else. But what am I saying here? Yeah, but look at who it was. Look. See what I mean? Little killed. Records include those created by the communities, blah blah, members of the parish. Yeah, the parish councils, right? Look, yeah, a president of Catholic churches. Yeah, the churches. Yeah, your government tax records, the police records. Do you see what I mean? And they used all the things that you fill in, yeah, on bits of paper and all of that. They're the ones that grass you up, and who controls all that? Do you know what I mean? That's like now, if they want to wipe out who the troublemakers, where do they go? They go to the town hall. Who's this? Who's that? What's this? What's that? And the people behind it all, who control all of that, is Freemasonry. You know what I mean? And that's what it's all about, you know. And that's, like I said, it was the local citizens, yeah, the police, and anyone with authority that did all the rounding up and all the what's it, and that was all Freemasons. Do you know what I mean? Because they controlled all that knowledge and had all that power. Do you know what I mean? Look, not a single soul whom the police could lay hands on was not allowed to go free. You see what I mean? Inmates of the Rothschild Hospital, you see, which had been set apart for patients from the camp of Drancy, were placed under arrest regardless of their conditions. You see what I mean? So just because if you've got a leg missing or an arm missing or whatever, they ain't going to give two tosses. Do you know what I mean? You're gone. If you're profane, you're gone. You know what I mean? Look, children over 3 years old were separated from their mothers. About 5,000 of them being herded together in 3 school buildings. Do you see what I mean? Because they have school buildings, or they're Masonic school buildings. Do you know what I mean? Using their own freaking, you know, their own buildings for it. But they don't come in as Freemasons. Like I said, they come in as Nazis or SS, or they come as scouts or Girl Guides, or, you know, they come as policemen. Do you know what I mean? They don't come as wearing their aprons. You know what I mean? That's all behind the scenes, because they don't want you knowing exactly what they are or what they're responsible for, whether it's bringing the Twin Towers down, or whether it's for killing JFK. They want to be as separated and far away from that shit as possible. Do you know what I mean? Because they must have a good reputation within all communities. Do you know what I mean? Same as when Savile was being buried. You know what I mean? All the Freemasons were there with their collars on and everything else. But you ask them about it, go, no, that's not us. That's someone else or whatever, and blame everyone else. Do you know what I mean? Crazy. And cannot be identified. Efforts have been made by the Quakers, the Salvation Army, and the Israelite Union for us to impress conditions in the camps to which the adults were equally transported. You see what I mean? But all what they mentioned in here, this is all Masonically run. Do you know what I mean? All of it. No proper sanitation, no medical supplies, and no kitchen equipment, because the people who were in control of that were the Freemasons. Do you know what I mean? So they didn't get that. Freemasons decide whether we get food or we don't get food. You know, they decide everything what they get within a town. Do you know what I mean? And that's what it was about. But look, the German police carried out the arrests. French and foreign were rounded up, thousands of them. You know what I mean? And interned in camps. You know what I mean? And that's your own community people, strong people within the community. And if you don't know who the strong people are within your community, or what they are and what they represent, do you know what I mean? Do a bit of research and you'll see exactly what you're up against when they come to round you up. Do you know what I mean? You know, that's like the vote. What was it? That's like the dockers strike. Yeah, you look at the dockers strike, the amount of men that stood there. Yeah. You know what I mean? They're the sort of people that are going to come round and you lot up when it comes down to it, because they were all Freemasons. Do you know what I mean? Right. Again, do your research. 1670, a mass arrest was carried out in Paris by French police. Do Do you know what I mean? And it's again the police. What the police involvement? Do you see what I mean? Because they had to. Do you know what I mean? Because they were part of the Freemason fraternity. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, because that's what they were. And you do the research, but the questions never asked how many Freemasons were these Freemasons were police that were rounding people up. Do you know what I mean? That question's never asked. You know, how much involvement did the Freemasons play within World War II, World War One, or whatever fucking, you know, wherever you go, you know, or in the Civil War in America, you know what I mean? Because all the men that were in charge were all Freemasons. Do you know what I mean? So there you go. And that's why they make these plaques. Look, you see? Look, see? I can't get it to go where I want it to be. You know what I mean? Look, 4,000 infants, look, 2,000 females, and 11,000 men by the look of it. Do you know what I mean? But that's what I mean. It's when men, women, and children. You know what I mean? And that's your local people, yeah. Like I said, that's the locals, you know, your parish, you know, the people that are like in the church, yeah, the civil servants and all of that. They're the first ones that are going to sell you out. Do you know what I mean? The first one that are going to sell you out. Do you know what I mean? Because they know who you are and what you are. Do you know what I mean? And like I said, when it comes down to the nitty gritty, the people in that town hall, yeah, the people in the Masonic Lodge at the in Great Yarmouth and the Masonic Lodge in the Cliff Hotel, they're going to be the ones that rise up. They're the ones that are going to be holding the guns. They're going to be siding left and right, whether you're going to live or you're going to die, and all the rest of it. Do you know what I mean? Unreal, man. You know, people think these, you know, these people in an army or anything else. Do you know what I mean? That's a madness. Do you know what I mean? But you won't speak out. You'll keep quiet. Do you know what I mean? And shh, because that's what you've been told to do. Silence. But remember, silent kills, yeah? And that's what happened in Germany, you know? Same thing. The Freemasons got away with it. You know what I mean? Again, nothing mentioned about them. They go, oh, we were persecuted. They weren't persecuted. They were just at war with each other, yeah? Do you know what I mean? And that's all what happened, basically, you know? That's like civil wars, yeah? You know, English against English, or the Irish against Irish, you know, all of that sort of stuff. Do you know what I mean? Or, you know, like the Irish and the English are fighting, or the, you know, you know, all the intent, like Scotland against England. Do you know what I mean? All of that sort of stuff is, you know, who's, you know, do you know what I mean? And that's what happens within the lodges. Do you know what I mean? The difference is the lodges are all within every country, yeah, and they call to banners who's fighting. You know, the lords, the dukes and earls go, oh, we're being attacked here. Call to banners, see how many peasants you can raise to help us. Do you know what I mean? And we'll do the fighting. And they'll just go, oh, see, we won that with all our peasants, beat your peasants up, so we won the war. Do you know what I mean? Now we'll go on, but you will do as you're fucking told, or we'll get the peasants to fight you again. Do you know what I mean? And that's all they do. And how they rally the men up to go to war is that your councillors and everything else put the leaflets out and go call to arms, come and help your country, come and help your this, come and help you that, and you get the narrative from them of what you should and what you shouldn't do. You know, and it goes on and on and on like that. But yeah, look, speak up, speak out. The cure is just a voice away. But you don't say fuck all about drug dealers, do you? We all keep shh. Do you know what I mean? I wonder why. Well, I might be a good demo of that when they kill me about it, eh? The power of speaking up. Do you know what I mean? The voices. You know what I mean? I hear no voices about drug dealers within the community. I will not stay silent so that you can stay comfortable. But that's what you all do, don't you? You all keep quiet because it keeps it comfortable, because then you ain't got no drug dealers on your case. Do you know what I mean? But once you realise who they are and what they are, and the reason they keep secretive and not out in the open, you know what I mean? Like I said, if I was in the, you know, I could bring it down, I suppose. But the point of the matter is, you know, we should be speaking out about them. We should be putting them, you know, their faces up. You know, you've been caught dealing drugs, boom, boom, boom. Look at the destitution within the communities that you've brought. Do you know what I mean? What businesses are you What businesses are you connected to? What other families are you connected to? What are the people around you? Do you know what I mean? So people have a choice to fucking say, no, I'm not fucking going to support you and the people that are about and around you. Do Do you know what I mean? Just because you're running this business, but you're standing toe to toe and go, there she blows and all the fucking rest of it. Do you know what I mean? Why should I be, why should we support you? Do you know what I mean? Because you're supporting someone who's decimating a fucking community. You know what I mean? You're getting girls like, face raped because they want a bag of gear. Do you know what I mean? So they're giving blowies out for a bag because you know what I mean? And that's going on, and they don't want to be doing that, but they're doing it because they've got such a habit that you're forcing them into that. Do you know what I mean? Crazy, man. But here we go, look, I can't. You can. Silence is deadly. Stand up, speak out against child abuse. Well, I've just shown you a load of child abuse, what your drug dealers do. But you'll still keep shh. What you don't know can hurt me, yeah? And if you don't know about, like I said, they're in your communities going, oh, it's an illness. And, oh, people on drugs don't ask to be, and all this bollocks. I'll show you in a minute. But this is what I mean, these kids can't protect themselves, you know what I mean, from their, from any sort of drugs or anything else, you know what I mean. I've shown you some of the deaths, yeah. So what is going on? Do you know what I mean? But like I said, if you surrender your freedoms, yeah, today, yeah, and you allow the people within your communities to get away with it, yeah, then your grandchildren and your great grandchildren in the future. Yeah, because these people have been doing it for decades, yeah? We're talking like people with a big family history within the communities, and they've been doing it for decades and decades and decades. Do you know what I mean? It's not just like they've been doing it a week and that and fucking all the rest of it, and you believe the spiel on the, on the telly or the newspaper, oh, we've just, done a big, gang ring or whatever. They're not even near it. They're not even fucking near it or even mentioned. Do you know what I mean? Because they're, within that fucking society where everything's shushed up, and they've got a funny fucking handshake, and they control the paper. They control your radio stations, your local radio stations and everything, you know what I mean? Do the research on it. I know what I'm talking about, you know what I mean? I'm not, it's not bullshit. What's this here? Again, look, this is nothing. You should see the Native American chiefs and council members who are Freemasons cleaning and laundering millions through reservations like they would a church. Do you see what I mean? And this is the thing they do, and again, it's all based on that charity. I was on about it today. A lot of money that's getting, filtered through this town are through, like certain businesses. Do you know what I mean? And that's why they're successful, not because they're, any good or whatever. That's because they're filtering a lot of money through. It don't matter if they get, people or whatever, it don't matter. The money that they get through ready for their retirement is all they care about. You know what I mean? They're earning money hand over fist by running it through their businesses. You know what I mean? And then we've got this geezer here. Look. Look, he thinks, look, you should be thanking us for bringing you the light of quality entertainment and showing us the respect we deserve. Then there is nothing secret about our society anymore. These are points of pride. You know what I mean? So basically, he wants us to thank him for giving us television programs that are full of subliminal messages like shh or square and compass and all the rest of it. Do you know what I mean? And I just told him, yeah, he's corrupt. You know what I mean? And obviously, you can pause that and read that yourself. And then we've got G for the for what was it again? I can't bloody remember the word now. But we got into this. I don't even know why I put that in there. To be honest, you know what I mean? Oh no, please don't tell me I'll just stop that. Oh no, Ian, that's alright, it's one of them new. So I can actually move that across to there and it still goes, I hope. If not, I've been gone for 2 hours, man. Oh, baby, this is a long one, isn't it? How wonderful. Right, so again, this is Cameron, yeah. Look, and here it is. This is what I told him. See, they receive no Cowans, yeah, right, which is us, yeah, to work in his society or company, nor send none to his servants to work with Cowans. Do you see what I mean? So that's us. We're the servants. Do you know what I mean? And we're not allowed. Do you know what I mean? To work. They're not allowed to employ us or hire us to work for them. You know what I mean? And if we do, we get taken to their fucking internal courts. Obviously, this Freemason here is denying it. Do you know what I mean? But they're the sort of arguments I have, with these people. But that's in their own books. You know what I mean? you know, and he'll say, look, you are quoting from some spurious source. No, the source comes from your own books. That is not part of our ritual or our constitutions. So again, he's talking rubbish and lying, because yes, it is a part of your books. That is part of your society, and it is a part of your rituals. Do you know what I mean? You will not employ any cowans. Oh. Again, he's arguing here, God, how did I become a Mason? You can't afford to. No master Mason will propose you. You are a fool and a person of bad character. So the answer is no. Remember, every profane person is a bad character to them anyway, because we're all in the north. But they're only going to take you on if one, you've got money, you're dumb enough to be protection, yeah, and scared enough to be in their gang or army. Do you know what I mean? And that you will be following orders. If you ain't following orders, you've got no money or anything else. They don't want to know you anyway. So if you're piss poor on the council estate and you think these people have got anything for you, they haven't. They're your enemy. Do you know what I mean? And that's what Freemasonry are within any community. They are your enemy. You know what I mean? That no lodge wants a dull bludger in its membership. So if you're on the dole, straight away, Freemasonry is your enemy anyway, and you're not getting nothing. They're going to eat well. You're going to be their servants working in their shops. Do you know what I mean? And you ain't even got to have a shop or a business or own anything anyway, because they ain't going to allow it, because you're profane. They want to control it. They want everything. Do you know what I mean? What if you are a daughter and granddaughter of a Freemason that have long died? A couple of uncles are barely alive, Freemason. Is that why I'm being stalked? Do you know what I mean? And this is what they do. Freemasons stalk people. Do you know what I mean? He might have upset, you know, because they're still profane, yeah? Remember, they're not involved with Freemasonry, yeah? So if that Freemason has hurt someone within Freemasonry, yeah, they hold these grudges and these bloody feuds, yeah? Right? They can't attack their own people, right? Get that, because they're brothers and sisters, right? But they can attack a profane person. And if you're not in the fraternity, then you're a profane person in the north, because you're uninitiated. So get that through your head as well, yeah? Just because your dad or your granddad or whatever is a Freemason, even at this particular point, if you're not a Freemason, then you're profane and you're on our side. Do you know what I mean? Because you're certainly not on their fucking side. They're on the side of Freemasonry. They're brothers, they're sisters. You are profane. And that is it. And they're trained to look at you differently. So don't think they're on your side. Once someone becomes a Freemason, yeah, the whole fucking ball game changes, yeah. Whether you're their wife or husband, you know what I mean? The only thing that's different is the Freemasons look at you as profane, and they've got no respect for you. That's 100%, that is. So there you go. And again, you got a Freemason here. No, why would anyone be stalking you? There would be no reason to stalk you, because some dead and nearly passed away family. You know what I mean? And it goes about here, look. Again, look, he's telling you to go contact the police. Why contact the police when they're standing toe to toe with the fucking Freemasons? Do you know what I mean? Again, I can prove that again, you know. We'll talk, you know, I could talk about a windmill, do you know what I mean, and the police in there, do you know, but that's another story. But the point of the matter is, why would you go complain to the police when they're right in with the police anyway, and they know what they know what community stalking is, do you know what I mean? They're all perverts and they're all in it. The trouble is, they're all drug dealers as well, do you know what I mean? And they're all complicit in it, you know. Mad. And here we go, look, they will think you are a Looney Tune. Do you see what I mean? And that's what they rely on. They rely on people thinking you're a Looney Tune. Do you know what I mean? That's what they rely on. So what you got to do, my best advice to you, is record, and film, yeah? Because then you're putting together a case, you know, and the more you film and record, the bigger the case you've got to present at the end of it. Do you know what I mean? And then your perverts, yeah, you know, they got a choice then, didn't they? Do you know what I mean? You know, they stand there denying it, or coming out and being the truthful about it, innit? Do you know what I mean? Any of the perverts that follow me can come out and, come forward, step forward. I ain't bothered. You know, you've got the narrative, come and step forward on it, you know. but you won't, because you're the fucking one hiding, because you're corrupt criminals. Do you know what I mean? That's the difference. Bit of place, Cal. In fact, unbeknownst to you, you are part of a worldwide fraternity by way of your father, grandfather, and barely alive uncle Freeman. You see Freemasons as obligated to aid and assist not only our families, but those of brothers' families as well, especially widows and orphans. In Masonry, you have millions of friends around the globe. You need only to ask. Just see what I mean? Look, same question. Look, see what I mean? Look, see, look, same thing. Look, or you'll be known as a Looney Tune. Look, law enforcement or a psychiatrist. Well, the law enforcement, they're Freemason, and a psychiatrist, again, he's there trained to shush you up and shut you up, or find out what you know, same as the police, find out what you know so they can do damage control on shushing you up. Do you know what I mean? And that's all it is. All avenues of help for anyone who's profane, yeah, because they've got all the power. Like I said, they've got the power. They own the chief of police. They own everything. So you go up against them and you're just like me, a nobody. What chance have you got? You ain't got no chance. You know what I mean? Say they're well-established families as well within the community, you know, powerful families with businesses and fucking all the rest of it and blah, blah. What are you going to do about it? Nothing, because they control the narrative. Do you know what I mean? Because they've got all the people in the pub, the respect and everything fucking else, and all the dumb fucks that think because they're being sold drugs that their dealers, they're a respectable person. You know what I mean? No one's calling them out or saying shit. You know what I mean? Because that's what it is, isn't it? That's how society is today, you know. The more drugs you sell, the more respect you've got. And obviously you get that because you own businesses where you can keep putting money in and pouring money in, and that'll never fail because you're mad, isn't it? Anyway, let's go. That is not a Freemason. I can assure you, whoever is stalking you is not a Freemason. Well, I can assure you, the people that are stalking me are Freemasons. They are perverts, and they are drug dealers, and they are rapists. Do you know what I mean? And I don't say that as a slight. I fucking know it, and I can prove it. You know what I mean? And that ain't just by, my imagination. That's by recording and filming. You know what I mean? Anyway, that's another story. Complain to the police and get it sorted. Look, if it happens here in New Zealand, we complain to the police and it gets sorted. No, it doesn't. It's a load of shit. You know what I mean? Freemasons, no reason to stalk people. Even men join the craft has to do with their own free will and accord. And he knows, right, this guy here, he knows that the Freemasons stalk you, right, and they investigate you, yeah, with an investigating committee, the people you're associated with or you're talking to, because they want to know exactly who they're fucking taking into their lodge. Do you know what I mean? Whether you're going to be trouble for them. So they even stalk people who like who are going to become an initiate anyway. Do you know what I mean? But like I said, if like me, you're a talker and you're a whistleblower, then they will investigate you. They will harass you if they need to. They will try and damage you financially, verbally, or any other fucking way. But what they won't do is come up front and be honest and talk about it. Do you know what I mean? They keep shh and cowardly behind fucking doors. Do you know what I mean? Anyway, sick people, very sick in my community, the Freemasons are. You know what I mean? Very, very sick people. Sick in the head. They don't need psychiatry or doctors or anything else. Do you know what I mean? I don't know what they need. But anyway, complaint to the police. Police have no talk. Ask people they need a alcohol. You're talking rubbish. Go away. Why would a Freemason stalk you? Even if he has relations that ran away with lodge funds, that has nothing to do with anyone but the man involved. If you are really being stalked, look at another source. Well, what source is there? I mean, let me look at another source. Right. Now, who could possibly follow me from one end of the country to the other, including into Asia? Right. What family has all that power? Let me think. I don't know. Now, if you can answer that yourselves, if you're profane now, have you got a family that could follow me anywhere around this country? Anywhere. Have you got that? No. Now, if I say, how about Freemasonry? Well, what a surprise. There's a lodge in every town and city that I've been into that can follow me just by one fucking phone call, know where I'm going. Do you know what I mean? That's what it's all about, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? Because I've been everywhere, and you know, and I'm talking loads of places, and within minutes the Freemasons are turning up. You know, and they're all druggies, little noncy, little coke heads, and all the fucking rest of it. Do you know what I mean? So, how does that work out? Do you know what I mean? And then people are coming out with the same spiel. Do you know what I mean? As the local community here, how do people that I've never met before in my life, right? I meet them, and then within 10 minutes or whatever, their attitude is changed towards me, right? And they're saying shit behind my back, which is the same spiel that is the shit what's being said here. How's that possible? What's the common denominator in all of that? Freemasonry, and that's all it ever is. Because you are the gang stalking, drug dealing paedophiles in my life. Do you know what I mean? Anyway, that's another story. Where is it? In relation to the way we run funds, Let's carry on a bit. The origins of Freemasonry, look, the facts and the fictions. Look at that blue floor. Beautiful, look. Look at that square and compass. You know what I mean? And this is Freemasonry in Bangladesh. So if you think you're even going anywhere else, here they are. Look, knowledge will never betray you. So, like I said, if you get the knowledge of what Freemasonry is within your community, that knowledge will never betray you. And like I said, drug dealers and criminals and crime lords are habitual. They don't stop their crime. You know what I mean? The Forgotten Lodge in Dhaka. You know what I mean? 1910. That's in India. Do you see what I mean? They've been around for decades and centuries. Do you know what I mean? But look how this Freemason talk about this lodge. Yeah, look. Honestly, I would happily translate the entire article to English to share with you guys, but it's absolutely disgusting. Here's a short summary. Yeah. So obviously that lodge history. Yeah. Right, he's not happy with it, this Freemason, and again, he won't print it all because again, you've got to have that. They've got to have that reputation of being good. Do you know what I mean? So they'll hide it, change it, whatever. You know what I mean? Look, in the there's a mysterious two-story building that belongs to a Jewish club. I shouldn't have said that. I'll let you read it anyway. A Freemason inside, they secretly engage in discussions of politics, religion, and had parties with dancing. ? I think you can imagine how racist and demeaning the rest of the article is. The newspaper itself is quite right-wing and conservative in nature. Do you see what I mean? But that's Freemasonry for you. Again, another part of the world, and I can't remember where this is now, sorry. But can you see the Freemasons? Look, square and compass, point within a circle, world domination balls. Look, do you see what I mean? Freemasonry is everywhere in the world, and it's the common denominator anywhere. So if you're being gang stalked, like I said, it only takes a little phone call. They know where you are and what you do anywhere, and I can show that in this town, where I've been followed fucking so much time, these stalkings, you know what I mean? But that's another story. But, if they can follow me, and I'm talking like down into Cornwall, up into Scotland, do you know what I mean? All these different places, like Bath and all of that, do you know what I mean? All of these different places, right? The only common denominator in all of that, yeah, and I ain't going to mention other things, but the common denominator in that is criminals, drug people, and Freemasons. That's the only common denominator in it all. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, and then I got this off someone's post. I thought this is like rude signs. Look, you see it, look, where he's like licking his bum and like doing something with the other man. Yeah, this was on a Freemason's lodge door. This was, do you know what I mean? So there it is. Look, that was on a lodge door for their toilet, and then we got this one. And this is with a Freemason again, look, with the child, look, and he's pulling his head in, okay, as you can see. That was in the Masonic Children's Policy Practice and Research Centre for Freemasons in the hospital. And then you got this one again, look, where he's holding the child's head, you know what I mean? That was in the Masonic Paediatric Centre. And then we've got this one here again, look, where it's bent over and you can notice the K. And that was their pharmacy, you know what I mean? And then we've got camera and a gear, you know what I mean? where he mentions again, if you talk, like I said, if you look at Freemasonry and the way they talk and all they, all the what they mention, that when the deacon wands are coped, which wand is frontmost? Do you see what I mean? So he's not talking about one wand here. He's talking about multiple wands, yeah. And that's what they have in the lodge, yeah. Because like I said, they're wizards and warlocks, yeah, and witches. Do you know what I mean? And they practice the arts of, whether that's chemicals or and all of that malarkey. Do you know what I mean? This is what they practice for people, all the time, and they learn hypnosis and all of that, and they use it within the communities. Do you know what I mean? And that, like I said, anyone who's profane is fair game for that, and that's why they got wands. Look at my wand posts, go all through it. That's why the Queen got her wand broke over her coffin, and here I'm telling him, look, well, you could just confirmed you carry wands and are warlocks. You know what I mean? We are not warlocks. Masons are builders. Do you know what I mean? The ones are actually cudgels, right? Which again confirms, right, that they carry weapons, right? Because if you research Freemasonry and cudgels, yeah, and you'll see a lot of cudgels were used because when they're pirates, yeah, which they were, which gear the all one seeing eye and the skull and bones and all of that shit, yeah, because they were the pirates. That's where their wealth come from, yeah. They were all pirates, and that's why a lot of them never got caught, yeah, because they were pirates. The only ones that got hanged, like Blackbeard and all of that thing, yeah, is because when they betrayed, again, they get ideas in their own heads, like Hitler and all the rest of it. They think because we're Freemasonry, our funny handshake can save us between anyone, but it don't. Do you know what I mean? So anyway, most pirates, if you do the research, were actually Freemasons. So anyway, but that's who carried the cudgels, and then when they blattered them on the fucking head, the profane, yeah, you'd be out at sea, and then they get you working for them. You know what I mean? So that was the slavery there. Do you see what I mean? So again, the cudgels, yeah, again, are their weapons, yeah, what they will use against you, the profane. So we've worked out they got wands, we've worked out they got swords, we've worked out they got daggers, we've worked out they got cudgels, and you think they ain't got guns? Come on, babies. You know what I mean? So you are all armed with weapons, which confirms you are the slave masters and wardens to oversee the work. This is great info, thanks. And that's coming from the own Freemasons. Do you know what I mean? Again, look, here, you'll see him mention the cudgel, look. Here, look. Wrap the shed, right? CG, cudgel in hand, salutes, look. He salutes. The worshipful deacon approaches the door, delivers the knock, 3 long, 3 short, 3 long, in no uncertain manner. Do you see what I mean? Them raps again, like I said, it's not just about, the grips, the steps and all the rest of it. It's about the sounds, do you know what I mean? And how many knocks you do. Do you know what I mean? Where it's 3 knocks, 2 knocks, 3 knocks, which is 3, 2, 3. Or it's the other way around, 2 raps, 3 naps, 2 naps, you know what I mean? And that's 2, 3, 2. Do you see what I mean? But it's all that's code, do you know what I mean? And if you don't know that code, you're getting nowhere, mate, you know what I mean? They use that around you. But here it is, look, cudgel in hand, and then he salutes his master, do you know what I mean? He salutes his higher, his higher upper, commander. He salutes his commander, who, whoever that may be, and whoever orders him, he will follow that order. Do you know what I mean? And that's why he's saluting him, because he's in an army and a gang, And here we go, look, the sins of Freemasonry, because it is wholly innocent of any wrongdoing whatsoever. And that's what they believe. They do whatever they do to you, the profane, yeah, they're totally innocent. Do you know what I mean? Because you are profane in the north. You're fucking nobodies. You're nothings. They're gods, yeah? They stand in the east. They're the travellers, the gypsies, that travel. You know what I mean? They're not blamed for anything. It don't matter. So look, whatever they do to you, the profane, it doesn't fucking matter. Do you know what I mean? Whatever it is, that's generational. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't mean nothing. You know what I mean? To them, like I said, time's on their side. Do you know what I mean? Their family feuds and all the rest of it, you know what I mean, goes on for decades and centuries. But we know that now. Do you know what I mean? We know what they are. We're now looking at them, yeah, and we've fucking got them well nailed down. Do you know what I mean? And like I said, it's all about just proving that there's one corrupt town, yeah, right, showing you, the profane, yeah, how to research these people and look into them yourselves. And then you've got to question it. If these people, right, go another 5 years, right, yeah, with the same sort of people that surrounds them, the same sort of businesses, and they're never being accountable for it or touched or looked at, then like I said, either the police are complicit in it or they're as thick as shit, isn't they? Do you know what I mean? And then if the profane people allow it to carry on, then what fucking use are that? You know, I mean, come on. You got to put, you know, what are you going to do about it? You know what I mean? And then that's another story, you know what I mean, in another video I've got, but, you know, but here it is, look, you know, that this, in this tenet, it's practicing its entire ethos. Masonry is a good and desirable organisation that can be well and worthily recommended to the world at large. No, it fucking can't. You know what I mean? I'll stand against any of them Freakmasons, right? Yeah, the ones that you know I'm on about, you know, that are gang stalkers and the drug dealers and the perverts and all the rest of it. I'll stand against them any day because I'm better than them. You know what I mean? All of them. You know what I mean? I'm not the one sleeping with my children and all the fucking rest of it, which I can prove again. Anyway, that's another fucking story. But there you go. You can never fucking, you know, these people, do you know what I mean? Honestly. And there's the cudgel. That's the cudgel. Meet the cudgel of Freemasonry. You know what I mean? Look at it. That's the cudgel in Freemasonry. Their wand. You know what I mean? If you don't do as you're told, they'll either turn you into a hamster so they can sacrifice you on their altar, or they bash you over the head and turn you into Hiram Abiff and bash your head in. You know what I mean? And here's the army here. Look, what an amazing evening meeting at the Nottingham Lodge, where Bob Order, supported by members of his family, initiated Billy Order, his son, almost 50 members and guests in attendance. You know what I mean? So his son, do you see what I mean? It's generational, yeah? And that son will take over where his, you know, his granddad and his dad and all the rest of it took over. But here it is, look, here's the army unit. Look at the army, look. See, look, all family, all well established within history. There's the banner in the background, look. If you look, it's the all seeing eye above and the old star below, look, yeah. But there's an army unit. These are the people that are going to be armed. But remember, these are the old dudes, yeah. Okay, there's the banners, look. Family banners, all in the background there, look. Call to arms. But you've got people like this young fella in the front here, look, yeah, that's now coming up, but there's hundreds of him, you know, young people, yeah. These are a lot of the old dudes, do you know what I mean? But these people here, you imagine putting a machine gun in each and every one of their hands. Do you know what I mean? Look, these are all multi-millionaires, and they're grooming this young man here to look at us as the profane. You know what I mean? He's special and he's all right. Look, see the drink, look, see, look, wine and a whiskey. You know what I mean? Look, they've all got a double drink, look. See, they look at all the food, look. They eat well, they drink well. They've all got business suits on. Who can afford a suit? Can you? I freaking can't. And I'm profane, that's why. They can afford everything. I think I've done this. Look, here's the Great Yarmouth Borough Council again, look, yeah. You know what I mean? Look, supply chain. Look at the supply chain. Look, we know three circles make a square and compass, and then you can see the square and compass within it. Do you know what I mean? But, and again, so again, it's C, right? Sizewell C for 3. Do you know what I mean? We can go on more than that, but we don't need to. Chambers of Commerce, yeah? CC. Chambers of Commerce. See? CC. CC, ABC. 1, 2, 3. 3 and 3, 33 degrees. See what I mean? But here it is, square and compass. We know 3 circles make a square and compass. You see what I mean? Advertise it all the time. Oh yeah, I've done this one, haven't I? I don't know why. I don't know why I might be in the wrong folder. I've more than likely done all of this folder before, but I'm sorry if I have. Then you've got the beach wheelchairs, look, by Great Yarmouth Borough Council, look. And what you got to do, you got to hire them. Why would you have to hire them? Why didn't they for free for people, you know, that would like to get down to the beach? You know what I mean? Where's the charity in it? Do you see what I mean? No, there's no fucking charity. Nothing's given away. Do you know what I mean? Nothing's bought or fuck all else. You have to hire it. Do you know what I mean? And they say, well, the hiring's to buy it. That's more than likely already the amount of hiring that's been hired over the summer season has paid for that wheelchair anyway. Do you know what I mean? Not that they couldn't pay for it straight off anyway. Do you know what I mean? But they hire it out, and then you, the profane, the poor, that want to get down to the beach, you've got to spend more money. Do you know what I mean? On something that's already been paid for, more than likely tenfold, 100-fold over. But if you went out of your own way and you put one of them chairs there and say, yeah, it's free, the council would come down there, yeah, and say, you can't do that. You can't do that because it takes, again, that money off them. Do you know what I mean? Because they're getting the cut of it. Do you know what I mean? Even though they make out they're fucking, this, that, and the other, and it's all going to charity and all the rest. It don't. Do you know what I mean? It's fucking don't. You know what I mean? They just take all the time. Look at that. Hire. Do you know what I mean? Hire. Let's fucking take the piss. I mean, buy them, give them to the people. Do you know what I mean? But you try and do it before these wheelchairs come out. You went down there with like half a dozen wheelchairs and just put them up there for free. Anyone can take one just to use to the beach, just to get the people down to the beach. The council would come up there. There'd be complaints and everything to stop that. And then they'd stop you from doing it. And do you know what they do? They then put it in place, and then they'd hire it or fucking whatever, and then they put a Freemason up front, and I bet you the Freemason up front hiring them out is a Freemason. Do you know what I mean? And then he takes a cut, and then it goes to the lodge and all the fucking rest of it, and there's another story, you know what I mean, that you can research, And there we are, look, where in the world of this widescreen are you? Do you know what I mean? And all I'm interested in is the ignorant debt slaves. That's what interests me, the profane, yeah? Because all you've got to do to stop everything else above is take out what's in your town. And that's the human resources, the labour unit control, you know what I mean? The religion and the media, which is your local radio stations, your town hall and everything else. Once you take that out of your town and you take control of that back, yeah, the people that run like the parish councils, your local council, or any sort of, because they only give us the choice of being a conservative or Tory, red lodge, blue lodge, blah blah, all these Masonic little systems, yeah. I mean, once you take them out of the running, yeah, and they're gone, yeah, but you ain't going to do that. They ain't going to allow you anyway. I don't care who you are. They ain't going to allow that in any town or city. But you try it. You see how far you get if you ain't attacked. And I mean fucking attacked and fucking hounded and whatever, because that'll be the Freemason crime lords that'll be coming after you. They'll stop you, don't mean. But all these guys, cops, lawyers and judges, took an oath to serve these guys, and that's why you'll never get anywhere, because they ain't going to allow you to do it. You know what I mean? You ain't going to raise enough anyway, because they've got it all. Do you know what I mean? They've got it in the pockets. Do you know what I mean? Oh, mate, look at that. Look, Suffolk Council. See the square and compass in it. Look. Mad, isn't it? Obviously, you cover, the colour blue, safe. You know what I mean? Here we go again. This is Cameron on someone else's post. Look. Why didn't you do yourself a favour and take a lethal overdose of something? Surely it must be being thoroughly miserable. Hell, I wouldn't wish that upon anyone, not even you. Your pictures are cute. Notice how the Masons in the pic are smiling. That is something you will never do. And this is a Freemason. Do you know what I mean? Look, I have slaves who work for me. Put that in your crack pipe and smoke it. You see what I mean? This is how Freemasons look at you, the profane. And you can go argue with anyone on any forum. Go to a Freemason forum, right, and start talking down. See how they talk to you. The first thing they're going to say is you're on drugs, you need medical help, you need psychiatrists and all the rest of it. Because they're habitual in their script. Do you know what I mean? And you can find that in any forum. And they talk down to you. They don't look at you as anything, because you ain't part of their community of a well-established 100 years, 1,000 years fucking people. We're living as a nation within a community. Do you know what I mean? You've got no history. You go look for your history, your profane history in any town or city. If you're profane, go show me something. Any plaque, any big, granite stone, that looks like a monolithic fucking thing that goes in, a dick worship bloody obelisk or anything like that. That's profane. Go on anywhere. You ain't going to find it, because the only people who are doing that are Freemasons, and they're the history of everything. You know what I mean? They've got all the presidents are Freemasons, all the people that run town down the street are Freemasons, all them in Westminster, all them in, you know, MI5, CIA, FBI, fucking the lot, all to do with the Freemason system. The whole lot, you know what I mean? Police, fucking counsellors, bloody da 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 da. Because you're living within a society and a nation of Freemasonry, but they just ain't wearing their aprons, that's all. Whereas if they did, people would be sick of them and they'd be ousting them out a lot faster than they would be now. But people ain't realising they're Freemasons, do you know what I mean? And here we go back to this now. Again, look, I was somebody's baby, yeah? And this is a child that's been killed by drugs, you know what I mean? This is a protest, by the way. You know what I mean? Again, look, killed by fentanyl poisoning, Ashley Nicole Rowe. Who do you think's putting the fentanyl in the drugs? Do you know what I mean? The drug lords and dealers, do you know what I mean? But they're killing kids like this all day long. But no one's saying nothing, not a fucking clue. You know what I mean? No one's saying nothing within the community, because if you do, you're dead. You know what I mean? They can kill me. You know, I accepted that years ago. You know, kill me. You know what I mean? I accept it, but you know that comes with consequences. Do you know what I mean? Again, look, these are children killed by, you know, by drugs, and this is going to happen to your family, whether it's your grandchild or in 20 years, someone who, you know, who you love and care about, who's going to have a baby. That's going to happen to them. Do you know what I mean? Look, I'm a mum, lost my kid to an overdose. Do you know what I mean? Doing heroin is a grave mistake. You know what I mean? Safe supply saves lives. No more ODs. You know what I mean? Because the people in charge of these supplying this stuff, yeah, are not good people. Do you know what I mean? It's a drug policy failure. There's no policy. You know what I mean? And I'll just keep flicking through these. But look, people are protesting about it. People know the problem, but nothing's ever being done by the problem, because the people who are causing the problem are your government officials. You know what I mean? They're your Freemasons. They're your police. Do you know what I mean? Her drug dealer wore a lab coat. Do you know what I mean? See, end overdoses now. No more lives lost. Do you know what I mean? And then obviously this is the one what I show you at the beginning. She overdosed next to her child, and you can get this all day. You know, one died, little boy here, look, 1 year old, died of a drug overdose. Do you know what I mean? Crazy, isn't it? Fentanyl, 12-year-old boy, look. See? 3-year-old little girl, look. 8-month-old dies of fentanyl. 1-year-old dies of fentanyl. See? People, see, they're isolated. See, look, this woman here, look, Tracy Hadler's son died after taking street Valium. Now she wants to raise an heir with, you know, but do it before it's too late and it happens to you. Do you know what I mean? Look, the leading cause of death for kids, right? 17 years and under. You know what I mean? Fentanyl deaths, look. Shows you. You know what I mean? But what are you doing about it? Nothing. Shh. Keep quiet. 1-year-old death. Mum arrested after toddler's fentanyl death. Do you know what I mean? But you can do something before any of these die. Any of them. 36 left their 30-month toddler to die in a hot car for more than 17 hours while she dumpster dived and slept inside her home. See what I mean? All of these, if none of these were on drugs, more than likely half of these children that are dying by drugs wouldn't be dead. Look, baby died after swallowing parents' heroin. Mother killed baby by rubbing heroin on her gums to get her to sleep. You know what I mean? Methadone, you know, you can read that yourself. I ain't got to say anything. It's all there in black and white. But what are you going to do about the people dealing heroins within your community? That destroys your community anyway. Yeah, that's got a lot of homeless people on the streets. What are you going to say about it? Nothing. No, worse than Europe, look. As Scotland's drug death rate soared to a record high, and worst in Europe. That's in Scotland. They ain't just in Scotland. See what I mean? They report it like Scotland. Why are you talking about Scotland? Because it's going on in Great Yarmouth. It's going on in Norwich. It's going on in Ipswich. It's going on in every town and city across the UK, let alone the bloody world. But the point of the matter is, what are we doing? Why aren't they talking about it within the communities? Why ain't your radio station or your newspapers printing out about the deaths and the drugs that are going around in the community? Because they want it shh, because we can't talk about it shh, because that's a bit like talking about Savile. Do you see what I mean? They don't talk about Savile. Do you know what I mean? They keep it quiet and they want it all to go, the less you speak about it, the better it is. Do you know what I mean? But it ain't, you've got to speak about it. You've got to bring it up to the attention. Do you know what I mean? Especially within your communities. And no one does. Do you know what I mean? If you're talking about drugs or anything within your community, you're the bad person and they persecute you for trying to be, the best of the person that's the best of trying to help them. They down and diss you for talking about it. You know what I mean? And, and I've got that across all sorts of forums where I've argued with people about drugs, do you know what I mean? And all the rest of it, do you know what I mean? But this is what you're dealing with. These toddler dead after drinking babysitters' grape soda laced with methadone. Do you know what I mean? Crazy, all these deaths. Look, I could have been the little boy in the overdose photo. See, look, both parents dead from overdose with the child in the back, look. And this is your drug dealers, that are doing, and I've got a full list of the people that have died within Great Yarmouth and Galston. You know what I mean? A full fucking list. I've got wet girls that are coming up with their trolleys with a baby in the pram, scoring fucking heroin. You know what I mean? Well, one dark, one light. Do you know what I mean? The dealer's standing there dealing it. You know what I mean? Nothing said. Crazy. See? See, look, mother of drug death teen campaigns alongside mother of the teenage dealer who supplied. You see what I mean? But what are these mothers doing? Nothing. Nothing's being said. They're not getting the support or the attention they should do. Do you know what I mean? Because the people who have actually got the narrative, and the like the mainstream media to get it out there, they're working alongside these people. And if they do speak out, they're going to lose their jobs. Do you know what I mean? Because that's what it's about, basically. Do you know what I mean? The people are not talking about it because they will lose their job, because the people in control of that, the respectable people that control the radio stations and the fucking this and the fucking that, they control it, and they don't want it mentioned. Shh, keep it quiet. You know what I mean? And that's why you'll not see much of it. And if they do mention it, it's always like worldwide or whatever, Yeah, father and a toddler died from a drug overdose, fentanyl exposure. 13-month-old. Yeah. But you don't see anyone jumping out on drug dealers, do you? No. See, he even had a son who died after being born addicted to drugs. Do you know what I mean? There it is, look. But you don't hear no one mentioning anything. You know what I mean? Even though it's rife and rotten within every town and city across the UK, or say the world, as we know, but no one's saying jack shit. 6 arrested after toddler overdoses on fentanyl. You know what I mean? Look, 6 people have been arrested after the 3-year-old Kamari Opperman died from ingesting a fentanyl pill. You know what I mean? And like I said, that person who came round my house and dropped a pill, for one of my children to pick up, you know what I mean, is one of the main gang stalkers. Do you know what I mean? I didn't know, like I said, I didn't know what was going on at a particular time, but I do fucking know now. But I know he did that, you know what I mean? But he did that to cause a problem, because again, if that had happened, my other children maybe would have been taken away from us. Do you know what I mean? And we'd have been branded like that, because they control the narrative, of course. We'd have been branded drug dealers, or fucking like people who take drugs, or whatever. We would have got branded with the blame of it, and no one would have believed anything else. We'd have been blamed with it, but he would have done it. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And like I said, I didn't think about it till years later. Do you see what I mean? So you imagine that at the particular time with the stress or whatever, if that one of my children had a past, do you know what I mean? That would be on fucking him, not on me. But we'd have been so fucked up thinking, at the time I weren't thinking of that. But we'd have got blamed for it, and we'd have more than likely lost our other children to that because a Freemason threw a fucking pill on my floor. Do you know what I mean? It's fucking disgraceful, man. Anyway, that's another story. Ha ha ha. Right, a 3-year-old died of an overdose while her caretaker got high. No one called 999 for almost a day. Do you see what I mean? And all these can be avoided. Do you know what I mean? All it takes is start fucking taking drug tests for your police. Do you know what I mean? That's the first thing. Do you know what I mean? Because most of them are on it. Your doctors are on it. Everyone's fucking on it. But they don't talk about it because, again, you can't keep sacking all these people because you'd have no one left in the community. Do you know what I mean? And they know that. It's not that's not idle talk. It's fucking a fact. Especially people in Westminster. You start, testing them. They ain't going to let you test people in Westminster because they're supposed to have the power of the integrity of not to be criminals and all the rest of it. You know what I mean? But they are, and most people are compromised by, being on heroin or, they a lot of people, believe it or not, are functioning drug addicts. They function as normal people within jobs, but they've got raging habits. Do you know what I mean? But they pull it off because the way they live. You know what I mean? They're functioning like whatever the word is, you know what I mean? But you know what I'm on about. And they've got raging habits, and that's from doctors right the way across to police and all the rest of it. You know what I mean? And that's what this is what compromises society all the time. The death of a 2-year-old daughter. Look, you see, no matter what it is. Look, plea to hear the voice of drug deaf families. Yeah, they don't hear nothing. This is just this news article. That's only on there. Like, who reads news articles? And you've got to actually physically search it up, but you don't see it come across your telly. Anything about drugs, used to back in the day, just say no and all of that bollocks, with Grange Hill and blah blah blah. But how often you see people talking about drugs and kids that are being killed by drugs on TV? None, because the people that are controlling the media, that on there, are controlling everything within our society. Do you know what I mean? And they don't want nothing, and you're not going to talk about it, because if you do, you're going to lose your job, you're going to get isolated, and you're going to get, effed up if you talk about it. You know what I mean? Well, you can read that yourselves anyway, guys. You know what I mean? Soldier's son's death on an Ibiza steak do, so he's gone on a stag do, done a drug and died. What a shame. 2 years since 3 children died at the Georgian Public Hospital, there. You know what I mean? And this is cancer drugs. Again, how do you complain about people like this? Do you know what I mean? And again, this is, who do you trust? Do you know what I mean? Who do you trust? Oh, sorry. It's late now. Again, this is, look, officers, this is about when you go to jail, yeah? Well, there's the same-sex relationships thrived in Brosfield, right? Some female prisoners were engaged in sexual favours with officers to get drugs for food. Do you know what I mean? And again, I don't know how to get that, but yeah. So again, this is what happens in the jails. Do you know what I mean? Again, look, here we go, look. Murdering medics. Who do you trust? You know what I mean? You've got to be, you've got to be really careful who you trust today. Do you know what I mean? And again, I've got another video coming, like, where it's called Who Do You Trust? I've done a few videos on it, but there's a lot more to it, where, who do you trust? You know what I mean? Basically, because you can't trust no one. You're putting your faith in people you don't even know. You know what I mean? It's like, like I said today, you say, oh, go have a nice time in the pub. Off you go. Go have a nice time in the nightclub, but they're all run by gangsters. Do you know what I mean? Look at what the Crays run, and that's what you got to look at. And you do the research. That's what runs your town. Doormen and bouncers. Do you know what I mean? And the police or the government were going to give them the powers of a fucking rest. Can you believe it? Do you know what I mean? But anyway, what's this? See, without your quality content, some dickhead I was arguing with. Yeah, look, people ask for drugs. Look, see, this is another one where I've look. People ask for drugs. Kids don't ask to be a so get the fuck out of here, you grubby fuck. Yeah. So basically, this is a post about they were jumping out. Again, these people were jumping out on paedophiles or whatever. Like like the type of two geese that type to someone. Yeah. And then the geezers turned up for a meet with a child, and then they're all pounced out on them. You know what I mean? And all I turned around and said was, "Why didn't you guys ever jump out on drug dealers?" Do you know what I mean? Yeah, because they're doing more damage than you typing on a fucking thing and tricking someone. You know what I mean? The drug dealers are fucking like through the wall with it, if you know what I mean. And I'm basically saying, well, why didn't you're a group of people that have organised, why aren't you jumping out on drug dealers that are doing just as much damage as the people you're thingy? And at the end of the day, the drug dealers you can pounce out on a lot faster because they're doing it every fucking 2 minutes of the seconds of the day anyway, innit? But they don't jump out on them. So, but anyway, like I said, he so he went into one. I think he was a Freemason, that Tommy Prestige anyway, because I called him out on it. But like I said, the guy go, people ask for drugs, kids don't ask to be raped. I think it's like raped or whatever. You know what I mean? You grubby fuck. But the thing is, no, they don't. But did all the kids I've just shown you ask for any drugs? No, they didn't. They're not old enough to ask for any drugs, so they are victims just as much as anything else. You see what I mean? But no one is talking or speaking about or out for them or giving them support. Do you know what I mean? Who's defending them children that have all died by drugs? They didn't ask for the drugs. You know what I mean? They didn't ask for their parents to be drug addicts or anything else. They're not, they didn't want to become orphans. Do you see what I mean? But you try and, and then again, look, about it, and what has he done then? As I'm doing plenty, and then then it got into like, who's this and that, and then he trawled through my videos, and and all he posted was this one, where I was having like one of my skits where I'll go around a church, and then like I was talking to like people, and just having a bit of a laugh. Do you know what I mean? But he trawled all through my videos and posted this Prestige, and then I said, well, why didn't you get one like Vomit? Actor, where like the women are being abused at the Masonic Lodge. Do you know what I mean? Why did you troll through and get a silly video where you could have got a serious one? But he didn't. He was a Freemason anyway. Again, it's just another one trying to make you fucking look stupid. Do you know what I mean? And then here I say, look, yeah, this newborn baby really asked for it, I'm sure, whether, going in with his mother and then dying of drugs. Do you know what I mean? I'm sure this kid's asked for it too, and then I'll give him another example. But again, this is what happens. Look, we don't control everything. Be satanic, be Satanists. We don't control anything. Just the important sniff. Oh, sorry, I meant the important stuff. Government and the profane people, and this is what they control all the time. They control your governments, they control the people around you, so they control the narrative. But if you know what these people are, and I mean if you research them and find out exactly what they are, it's amazing that they've got away with it for hundreds of fucking years. Here's another classic example, right? These are videos I do like on my Facebook. I do a lot of videos of symbolism within within TV and movie. Okay, now he's now going to pick a child up, right? And then he's going to simulate like he's having sex with the child. Watch, but it goes through and it is allowed. But this is how they do that subliminal messaging, yeah, through Freemasonry, because they own it. This is how they do it. So watch, look. There we go, look. See that? And it looked like he was having sex with the child. I'll show you again, look. Watch. See? Throws the kid up, look. Now watch, he looks like he's pumping the kid, look. See? And then obviously he's doing that with the dinosaur, so it's like a double endo anyway. Yeah, look. And then it looked like he's getting the kid's head, look. You see what I mean? They know exactly what they're doing, and this is what I do all the time. I show the subliminal messaging within, and people don't pick up on it. Look, he's now looking, I'll pick the kid up, I've now put him down, and now I'm pumping him. You know what I mean? I'm now, you know, bum stretching the child. You know what I mean? Yeah, see? You see how that look? You know what I mean? What is this program? I forgot now. That's called The Boys. That's right. But look, see, throws the kid up. Look, and then watch this. He starts pumping it. Look, see, boom, boom. Yeah, great. See, but that's how they get away with it. These Freemasons, because they own all of these types of things. Do you know what I mean? It goes on and on and on. You know. So there you go. Again, look, this is some of the stuff I do, and I get messages like this, and this is what keeps me going, you know. Look, as far as being related to the status, though, you've always been there. Oh no, this is another. Oh, this was from another dude, you know. But this is what I do, you know. I help people, and I go out of my way to help people. Do you know what I mean? In all sorts of society, you know, all in society, I always try to help people. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, and I help a lot of people that are being gang stalked. I help a lot of people that are on drugs. You know, I do a lot of stuff in the background that people don't even know about. You know, and a lot of secretive work as well. You know, you know, yeah, it's mad what I do basically. But there you go. You know, but you know, this is what I do. You know what I mean? I try to help people. So, and then you've got someone like this dickhead, Cameron Lewis, and then he's gone on about the wands again. Look, you see, Masonic wands. Senior wardens decides who's getting bummed next in the lodge. You know what I mean? Because you know fuck all. But yeah, we do know. Again, look, this is my universal credit. Look, yeah, they've just stuffed me again. Look, with 1,000. You know, how much was to pay this? Yeah, I don't get any money now. Yeah, right. So they're now expecting me to pay is £1,052. Yeah, but how you know we will continue to pay some of your universal credit towards this each month. But if you notice, you know, and and you can see it in my other videos, I'm already paying astronomical fines. What they're now taking out of my universal credit. So how you're supposed to live, I don't know. Do you know what I mean? It's just madness. But there you go. You see, they're always penalising you, aren't they? Do you know what I mean? And again, look, this is how I help people, and I love it. You know what I mean? Look, because again, look, you, even though we never met. Oh yeah, that is, I wonder what that was. Oh, hey. Yeah, a couple of us, you know, in no way, shape or form in the same level of knowledge as you. But, you know, even though I've got a bit of knowledge, that doesn't mean I know everything, and I fucking don't, you know. And I do learn off you people as well, you know, because a lot of you, you know, you send me different videos or tag me, blah, blah, blah. So I learn off you guys as well, you know, and I don't know at all. I wish I did, you know what I mean? Because if I did, I'd be well telling you, do you know what I mean? But, so these videos get me going, and people know I'm not talking shit, I'm not talking rubbish. I am trying to get, you know, into that nitty gritty of what actually does control our towns and cities, because they've gang stalked me. Do you know what I mean? They've harassed me. Do you know what I mean? And I'm not talking like 10 years or 20 years. I'm talking 30, 40 years. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, that these people have been on my fucking case, but they walk around pretending or thinking they're legends within the community when they're not. You know, they're businessmen. They got rich. They got all the money, and they go around, oh, we're heroes, but all they are is fucking, you know, drug dealing gang stalkers. Do you know what I mean? And that's it. And I've researched that. And again, you know, people do thank me, and it keeps me going. Do you know what I mean? But there you go, you know, and I get a lot of people that do thank me. I do wake people up one at a time, and that's great, you know. I don't care, you know, I'm not trying to wake the masses up, but if you are listening to me and you know what I'm talking about, then you need to wake up every day and at least speak to one person, regardless of who it is, either direct them to my videos, my forum, and talk about Freemasonry, who's running your community and who ain't, you know. Because the first job of us, really, yeah, it's not, forget all groups and all that bollocks, do you know what I mean? The first thing is actually waking the people up that are asleep to what is actually going on today, because so many people don't know about it, you know. Yeah, let's see, here's another person who's been gang stalked. See, Freemasonry's not being mentioned for nothing, do you know what I mean? And like I said, you've got to use their own tools against them. Yeah, which is tape recorders, digital recorders, and videos. Do you know what I mean? And you've got to do that all the time. repeating the same numbers and the words over and over again for many years, yeah. And what they do, that see again, it's the repetition. This is what they do in the telly, yeah. You keep seeing the square and compass, you keep seeing the 232, you keep seeing 232. You know what I mean? All of that is subliminal messages, what they repeat to you over and over again. God knows what there's, you know, what the subliminal flashes they put through the telly, you know, where they can make you have a drink or whatever. You know, you don't know. They control that telly. Whatever you see on that telly, they control. So whatever they're flashing there is going into your subconscious anyway, yeah. And a lot of it is to keep you shush and be quiet and think life is like that, but it ain't. You know what I mean? There's a whole fucking, oh God, I can't. You know what I'm on about anyway. But again, this is, you know, let me translate this for the moronic Masonic parasites, yeah. The harassment doesn't have any effect on anyone. Got it? Probably not. No, they haven't got it. And they think they're smarter than the average bear baby, you know what I mean? But like I said, to fight Freemasonry, you've just got to research. No one's looking into them. The police ain't looking into their brothers, you know what I mean? So you've got to do it. And then you've got to look to people that they've hurt or damaged who are their enemy and recruit them. And on my walks in life, like I said, I've found many a person, you know, that's willing to go that little bit extra just to get that, you know, just to do, you know, what needs to be done. And that's a great thing, because paedophilia is the glue that keeps secret society members silent. Believe that, baby. Same as the drugs, do you know what I mean? It keeps them together. But anyway, that's another story, my profane. Look, it's global politics. No, it's a community, yeah, and the community politics are Freemasons are running your towns and your cities, yeah. They're the ones putting the candidates up front, yeah, at the local level, yeah. The Freemasons are running it all. Do you know what I mean? And then obviously as it go up the pyramid, but within your town and city, the people that are being put up front, it's only the Freemasons that are putting them there. So whoever they are, you want them out. Do you know what I mean? And you want to make sure anyone that gets in is actually nothing to do with any secret societies, yeah, and has no agenda except what's best for the community, not what's best for the Freemason Lodge or anything else, or the brothers. Do you know what I mean? And they all need voting out, you know, regardless of anything. They all need voting out, the whole lot. You know what I mean? And taken out, you know what I mean? You've got to take them all out, right the way through everything. Do you know what I mean? But like I said, when you get close to that, that's when you're going to see the army rise up, because they ain't going to allow you to have any power because you're profane. Do you know what I mean? But you've got to vote them out, because if you don't, that's it. You know what I mean? But they ain't going to allow that. And here we go. This is where it gets technical, you know what I mean? And I was really surprised that 2 people picked up on this, do you know what I mean? Because if you know who it is, it's travellers, gypsies, and they're all you know, like Egyptians and all that, yeah? Because again, like with my research, and you know, I put a lot into my videos, but you've got to look for it, and, you know, there's different things in my videos anyway, let's put it that way. You know, and once you look into it, you know, like see, it's putting, you know, I can put it all together and just mention it all now and go fucking duff, you know what I mean? But you know, like this guy here, you read this book here, he tells you who's their god, yeah, and he was being gang stalked by his father, and what surprised him the most was how his father, regardless of where he went in the UK to hide up or get away from his father, he was always amazed that his father could find him within a day or 2 days. He would find out what town or city he was in, including London. Well, the reason he did that and how he did that was because his dad was a Freemason, yeah, and he was just putting the message out in every lodge, yeah, and they go and they just put the photograph, so they can have like 500,000 men commit to memory your face up and down the country, yeah, and they know who you are. And as soon as they see you, they go boom, and they follow them, and they get paid for it. You know what I mean? They're paid for it, and they're, you know, basically they're spies within your community, and they see you, and then they report where you are, and then it goes, oh yeah, we know, and that goes, you know what I mean? Then it gets reported back to his dad, and then his dad go right, and then he comes down and goes wherever he fucking is, because he's been reported to by the lodge, what's controlled by the Freemasons. Do you know what I mean? Which are travellers, or, you know, they're all travelling east. You know, they're not always going on about travelling east for nothing. Let's put it that way. So, you know, but once you put two and two together and all the rest of it, you can soon come up with what controls your town. You know what I mean? So yeah, and here's like a picture of London with the Masonic lodges. Look, now where's London? Do you see what I'm saying? Because of all the Masonic lodges here, look, you can't even see a landmass because of the Masonic lodges. See what I mean? Amazing, isn't it? Anyway, and then we've got, like, me did a post here, look, 3 people from 3 parts of the planet, right? No connection at all, yeah, we didn't, yeah. Now, I knew this years ago, yeah, because obviously I've been at this a long time, yeah. And, but if you look at my old forum, what I built, you'll see it's hinted in there, right? And through various videos I've done, it's hinted all the time, yeah. But I never, you know, I haven't gone right into it, but obviously I know. And, you know, and that's what travellers, you know, travellers, gypsies do equate to Freemasonry. So if that does, yeah, then basically gypsies and travellers are the ones that run your towns and cities, and they're the ones that control all the businesses and every fucking thing else. Do you know what I mean? Well established food. But if you look into it more, you know, and I don't want to go too much, you know, like here we've got Pig Shit Island and all of that, you know, blah blah blah. But they're the you know, you're looking for the original settlers basically. Do you know what I mean? And then you get into it, and then you go, oh, and then, you know, 2 and 2 becomes 3, and 3 and 3 becomes 5. Do you know what I mean? So yeah. But other people put it all together, you know what I mean? Look at this geezer, look. See what I mean? Look. This is a Freemason again, look. I'm anything but greedy. As a Krishna devotee, I shun materialism, but I still have a comfortable life. Now look at this, look. Of course I have more money than you. Well, he doesn't know what... I've got no money anyway. Everyone's got more money than me. Even a homeless person. But the point of the matter is, yeah, is that he, you know, this is a Freemason, right? Yeah. Look, I'm wearing a birth year Rolex Submariner on my wrist. It is worth 30k, right? This watch, yeah, £30,000. I haven't even got 30p in the bank. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, but this guy's bragging like a ninja. You know what I mean? I drive a Mercedes V8 AMG and an M3 BMW. Yeah, so he's got 2 cars, 30 grand. God knows what he's got in the in his bank anyway. Yeah, I own my own home. I own shares and an investment property. Yeah, absolutely none is given to me. I worked honourably to pay for it. Blah 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 blah. Well, that's bullshit. No one works in this life, right? Whether it's a factory, stacking shelves, or anything, becomes a millionaire, right, or whatever, by working honestly in this day and age. Yeah, you tell me anyone who's worked in a factory, has their own, say, bricklaying businesses or anything like that can afford like 30 grand, own their own house and all the rest of it, not without having years. The only people like him that has money like that are drug dealers. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, and they're getting money hand over fist. Do you know what I mean? And like I said, if we go back to what the children were earning, 5 grand a month or whatever the fuck it is, you know what I mean? You imagine if he's a top drug dealer, he's getting money hand over fist, which they are anyway. But the point of the matter is that he's got like 30 grand on his wrist, yeah. But I've got a phone, which is like 100 quid, I suppose, if that. So I've got a 100 quid phone, but that's doing the same thing as what his wristwatch is anyway. Do you see what I mean? So he didn't need all that money. He could buy himself a £1,000 watch and then put 29 grand into something. Whether that's, you know, like if there's 2 or 3 of them, they could put it and build a house and then put a few homeless in there, couldn't they? But they won't, because they're greedy, you see what I mean? Mad, isn't it? You know, but this is what I'm saying. So he's got 2 cars as well. He could sell a car. He could feed a lot of people there, couldn't he? You know, but we're talking about a lot of Freemasons. All Freemasons are the same. You know, wristwatches, 2 to 3 cars, all fucking sorts of shit. They got it, do you know what I mean? They got and that they all got that sort of money anyway. But again, like I said, they got money coming in from drug dealing and and filtering all the money through their businesses and all that. But they don't put nothing back into the community. Do you know what I mean? And they just sit there bragging and think that's all good. That's fucking terrible. But anyway, here's me bragging about the watch alone is rubbish. I've got a Samsung phone. It does the same thing and more and costs 70 quid. You know what I mean? What do I need with £29,000, which is a wasted anyway? See, it's just greed. Do you know what I mean? But that's how Freemasons think, And if you watch them and go down to the lodge and see what they park up on the car park, the ones that are fiddling and ones in, you know what I mean? You can see the ones that are, the crime lords, you can see them with their big fucking Jeeps and all the rest of it. And then you got the other ones that are sort of in disguise that drive shite, you know what I mean? But they're still criminals, but they tone themselves down on purpose because they don't want to draw attention to themselves. Do you know what I mean? And then you got the ones that are flash, do you know what I mean? Oh dear. Anyway, that's another story, my profane friends. Now look at this building here, right? Someone pointed this to me the other day. They go, they noticed the symbolism in it. But can you see the symbolism in it? That's the thing. Let's start at the bottom, yeah? Right, you got 3 red stripes at the bottom, look, you see? So that's 3 there straight away, but we won't go into that. What I'm talking about is, if you look at the building, there's 3 sections to it, yeah? 1, 2, 3. Okay, so there's your other 3. Okay, now if you look at taking interest, right, we go across there. So I'll just do this side, all right? Look at the windows, okay? The bottom section, I wouldn't do that section there, right? Oh, go on, I'll do it because I'm good like that. Right, each section on the bottom, look, are windows of 9, look, 9, 9, 9, as above, so below. So that bottom section of windows is 6, 6, 6, okay? So that's that, right? Now, if we look at the other windows, right, as you go up, all right, I'll go up another section. So I'll say this window's here, right? So if I come down, so there we've got, look, so it's 3 windows, right? Go up, 3 windows, 3 windows, so that's the 9. But if you look at the black windows, look, so it's 3, 2, 3, 2. Do you see what I mean? So that's the Masonic symbolism of 3, 2, 3, 2, 3. Do you see what I mean? So I'll go from the black ones here. Look at the black, 2 black ones. Then the next layer of windows is 3. The next layer is 2. Next layer is 3. So it's 2, 3, 2, 3, 2. Do you see what I mean? Of Freemasonry. What else was that? I just, again, most of it is like 6. Look, again, it's 6. The black windows that go across, look, are 2, 4, 6. You see what I mean? And each window, a clear window, is 3. So it's 3, 3, 3. You see what I mean? But a subtotal is 9. You see what I mean? So again, this is all Masonic, you know what I mean? Symbolism. See? Crazy, isn't it? But that's pure Masonic. That is 3 sections. Each section is 2, 4, 6. Yeah? Or each section is 3, 3, 3. Or a subtotal of 9, yeah? But as you go across the windows, it's all 9, 9, 9 or 6, 6, 6. Do you know what I mean? Which give you the subtotal of what they're looking at. You know what I mean? There's more to it than that, but that's the basics of it. Do you know what I mean? Where also it goes 2, 3, 2, 3, all the way up. Do you know what I mean? So you're getting that, that Masonic square and calm piss. Another building owned by Freemasonry. Again, it's all about the divide and the conquer, you know what I mean? And so long as you keep fighting and being divided amongst yourselves, the Freemasons love it because they're only for themselves. There's a nation of Freemasons that live within every town and city, and in every town and city, all they are is for themselves, yeah? And they're all doing well. They're all millionaires. They've got all the money, but the profane are nothing. You're all separated and got nothing. Do you know what I mean? You don't own anything. If you're profane now in any town city, what do you own? If it's nothing, then you are in the profane army. You're nothing to do with Freemasonry, and you should be getting other like-minded people to investigate Freemasons within your town and within your city. Now look at this, look. Someone else sent me this, look. Justin Bieber shows up to Rhodes launch. Oh yeah, it's Dwayne who sent me this. Good man. Can you see something there, look? Can you see it? the symbolism, look, on the lorry, look, just to the right of the policeman. And you see it? I don't know if I can. Oh, you can, yeah. See the square and compass? See that, look? Because that's the head of anyone's security. Freemasons they own all security firms, yeah? And the reason they own all security firms is because they can investigate you and their security for the people they need to keep, to look after, you know what I mean, yeah? So, and again, I'm going to go into that in another video about security and what runs and controls things in the security, yeah? So what they're basically doing is looking after the best interest of their money makers. Do you know what I mean? But you can see the square and compass clearly on the side of that van. And these people here, what are coming up behind them, they're Freemasons. Do you know what I mean? In charge of looking after their best interests. And that's all it is. These people here, all behind them, all around them, anyone that deals with anyone who's a star is all to do with Freemasonry. Do you know what I mean? And that's all it ever is. There it is, look, again on the van, look. Square and compass. Oh, that's gone, it's disappeared. I don't even know what I did there. Yeah, there it is, look. Square and compass. Because that's what that is, And like I said, they advertise, they can't help themselves. Do you know what I mean? And I can't force anyone to hear my message. Do you know what I mean? And I don't even, people won't even receive it. But if I've sown a little piece of, seed, then I'm, it's business, isn't it? That's all I'm trying to do, just plant seeds into people, and hopefully put people on the right track to what's controlling everything, yeah? And again, look, it's been maintained that the gypsies are Egyptians, right? Okay, now imagine in Freemasonry the amount of symbolism that has to do with, Egypt, pyramids and all the rest of it. So you're onto the ball. If you start going down this route, yeah, then you're on to something, do you know what I mean, of the Freemason history of them being gypsies, okay? But this is another story. But even they are the followers of the pharaohs, but not even forgotten, home from the Red Sea journey, right? Now, when Moses was, again, this is from their books, do you know what I mean, not mine, Moses and Noah, they were merciful masters and all that bollocks. But Moses led a nation of Freemasons out of bondage and slavery, yeah? Right now, in my research, and again through this, yeah, some of the ones that went after him or got away, yeah, from the flood when the sea, that part had come back together again, yeah, they're the ones that are actually today, they're the ones coming down through the centuries that have took over all the towns and cities when they spread about. Do you know what I mean? Remember, we're talking centuries and decades, not 2 fucking minutes or 10 years or half a century. We're talking thousands of years. These people have spread about, integrating themselves into all types of society, yeah, okay, and manipulating that to what they want and what they need, with the final solution at the end of it, of that, so long as they get in charge or they are in charge. I'll leave that there. You can read that yourselves. Again, you can see, look, gypsies, travellers, again, and this is from their own Masonic encyclopedia that you can, again, read about, There are many gypsy Freemasons indeed. They are the very people to push their way into a Freemason's lodge, for they have secrets of their own and are naturally anxious to pry into those of others, right? But you got to remember, right, gypsies already think of you as a bad race anyway, yeah? You're I forget what they call you now, or call us, should I say, yeah, because we're not part of the Freemason, that gypsy thing. They look at us as separation straight away anyway. And then if you got the separation from that, because we're not part of that society, and then they're Freemasons as well, yeah, and they're working the Freemason system to keep control of the town, and they're actually controlling the police and everything fucking else. Do you know what I mean? What have we got controlling our societies? Do you know what I mean? That's what it's all about, you know what I mean? But there you go, you can read that for yourself. Again, here's another town, another city, right? This is off, this is like some joke thing, but I like taking these pictures because it shows me, yeah, I'm not sure where this comes from. I think this was in I ain't going to say because I ain't too sure, but if you look at the seatlet, you see the seatlet as a circle within a square, yeah. Then you've got the square and compasses, look, 3 times, it's 666 basically, yeah. That's the seat, okay. Right. Oh, I can't move it, I don't know how to do it. Haha, baby. Oh yeah, there you go. You can see the square and compass in there. You got the circle within a square, look, yeah. All of that is Masonic symbolism, but also in the back of interest, look, you see the obelisk, look, yeah, which is there. Look, there's the obelisk, right? Again for Freemasonry, and then behind that, look, you can see the pyramid, look, with the columns. You see, so again, this is another town or city, yeah, where Freemasonry is prevalent within this society. And I can't remember what society that is, but I think let's say it's something where like Lithuania or something like that, you know what I mean? But it's a practical joker, you know, you can look him up, look, Joker Pranks, do you know what I mean? But again, in that society, again, you can see that the government or the council, because there's a councillor's bench, yeah, again, Freemasonry has put their symbolism in it because they control that town or that city. Do you see what I mean? So you can't get away from it regardless of what it is, you know. Yeah, look, MPs earned over 17 million from second jobs since the last election. Do you know what I mean? No wonder you ain't getting any jobs because they took them all. Do you know what I mean? With their second jobs. Do you know what I mean? They take over everything. Whatever they do, it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? And there you go about the slaves. I'm not going to read it out. You can read it yourself. Pause it and then read it. And again, look. This was another good one. This was Larry Johnson. Look him up. Look, Christian churches have seen terrorist attacks, right? Mosques have seen terrorist attacks. Synagogues have seen terrorist attacks. Masonic temples in the modern era, they're untouched, didn't they? Because they're responsible for all terrorist attacks. They attack everything they need to cause a reaction. That's why they brought the Twin Towers down, do you see what I mean? But they blame the other people or another society of people, so it gives them an excuse to go after them and chase them, do you know what I mean? And then the Church of Satan, since its conception, look, has been untouched. And if Satan is against himself, how can this kingdom stand? Do you know what I mean? But that's the, you know, this is the thing. Freemasonry goes after things that wants to control, you know, or cause that disaster within that place, so they can, you know, so it all becomes you know, they stand away from it regardless of anything. They don't go nowhere near it, you know what I mean? But they're responsible for it, do you know what I mean? Like I said, they brought the 9/11 down, but you try and mention Freemasons or anything like that in it or see it on the news media, not a fucking thing, do you know what I mean? Because they do, you know, because they control that mainstream media and the papers and everything else. Freemasons are never mentioned, you know what I mean? The point of the matter is, yeah, those who vote decide nothing, right? You know what I mean? So when you're voting, you decide nothing. And those who count the vote, like the Freemasons in the town hall, yeah, the Freemasons decide everything. You know what I mean? Because those who count the vote, they're the ones that decide everything. And that's the Freemasons, sadly. And nothing is being done. Do you know what I mean? Nothing. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. You know what I mean? And you can believe in the white hats as well, but the white hats, what are supposed to be doing good and all that, they're all Freemasonry. And again, that's to give you the illusion that these people are doing something about them, but they ain't. They're all a part of it. Do you know what I mean? And they just, again, it's just that illusion that, oh, we're doing something about it, we're fighting it. So you sit there thinking, oh, they're doing something about it, but they ain't. No one's doing fuck all about anything. Do you know what I mean? It's just the illusion that it is, and it's all about stall and delay. Do you know what I mean? And then, it, you know, down the line, it gets to that stage where, you know, we'll all disappear. We're all going, you know, 20 years from that. Well, I might be gone sooner. I will, I reckon. You know what I mean? My death is expected. You know what I mean? Very soon. You know, but the point of the matter is that, you know, I'm going to say, you know, if I live to an upright old age, you know, and I'm gone in 20 years, I'm gone. No one's talking no more about anything. Do you know what I mean? That's it. you know, and who's going to take my place? I don't know. I don't know, you know. But I just know the people, you know, the people who are taking a vote now, yeah, you know what I mean? The people who are voting, you know, we decide nothing, you know. We're living under that illusion that something is being done by the people in charge that we vote for. Do you know what I mean? And it's not. It's a lie. You know what I mean? And the ones who are counting the votes, you know, in the town halls and all that, you know, the Freemasons, you know what I mean? They're the ones that decide everything, and they decide who goes into our parish councils and represent us. Do you know what I mean? Not who we decide. We don't decide anything. They decide. Do you know what I mean? We don't decide nothing. You know what I mean? And nothing's being done, not by any white hats. That's just an illusion that they put there, that you think there's something being done. Same as the police stations within your towns and cities. They're there for the illusion that something is being done. Do you know what I mean? We are arresting drug dealers. We are arresting this and we are arresting that. Now, all they're doing is just going around plaguing the people that have got nothing and living in poverty anyway. Do you know what I mean? They're not arresting the big major people, because if they did, they'd lose their job within the lodge. Do you see what I mean? And it's a whole different battle game then, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? Because the people, you know, and again, if you ain't sure who it is, they show you on the telly. If you don't want to believe me, just go watch Once Upon a Time in America. Yeah, see where the corrupt criminals ended up there. If you don't believe me there, go look at what's the other one, Broadwalk Empire. Yeah, who ran the towns or the cities there. You know what I mean? In Broadwalk Empire. If that one don't convince you, go look at Peaky Blinders. Do you know what I mean? Where he went from, you know. What was he? He was a gypsy. Where did he go to? In Parliament as a Member of Parliament, you know. You know, they tell you in the programmes, you know. You just got to work it out and figure it out yourself, you know. And look for the pointers, what, you know, what is, what, or what it is, what is within your life that runs your town and run your cities. And most of it you can find if someone's controlling the doors, someone's controlling the boxing and all them nice little criminal things that the Freemasons control. It tells you what controls your town, you know. And you can back that off. Like I said, just go watch videos of crime lords that are doing interviews now on YouTube. They're all over YouTube, and you'll find they're just bouncers and doormen, you know. And that's all it is. Do you know what I mean? They're all crime lords, and that's what runs your town. And, you know, we sit here like profane people, go have a good night, go to the clubs and the pubs. Do you know what I mean? But they're all there on an agenda. People trying to get your children and the people that you love addicted to drugs, because then it pays for things to be built, like the bridge. You know, like when they got a bridge now being built, but that's all the money that funded that has come from drugs. You know what I mean? They ain't getting that money from anywhere else, you know. And the people who are getting the contracts there, what are they? Freemasons. Do you know what I mean? And again, you know, the contracts are always look who's getting the contracts within your town and cities, you know, for anything. It doesn't matter what it is, you'll find out they're all Freemasons. Do you know what I mean? There's all funny handshakes. And you're living in a society, which more than likely you don't even realise, of Freemasons. Do you know what I mean? A society of Freemasons, a nation of Freemasonry, built for Freemasons, but everything else and everyone else is just cannon fodder to be used and abused by Freemasons. Do you know what I mean? And like I said, they're out of your houses and everything else, and they're going to take them off you by hook or by crook, so they get the ownership of it. Because if you control, like, you know, all the businesses, right, for instance, which they do, then they control who's going to be employed and who's not going to be employed. They're also going to say who can have a successful business and who's not going to have a successful business. Do you know what I mean? You know, whether you're going to be successful within your town or city is based on Freemasonry. Do you know what I mean? Because if you go in direct competition with them, like I said, they're going to wipe your business out, whether they have to burn your cars out, your fucking whatever it is, depending on what that is. Yeah, they're going to make life difficult for you to run your business, because they ain't going to have it. You know what I mean? That's what they do. Because the only people that control or run your town is Freemasonry. Anyone else who's not a Freemason Freemason or not answering up to Freemasonry will not be tolerated within a town or a city, and that's a fucking fact. Do you know what I mean? And the people who have got say on, like I said, who've got say within your town, yeah, that have got the ones that are supposed to be the respectable ones, you know, like the ones that are throwing our entertainment and our bread and water, they're the ones that are keeping us down, you know, and they're in your papers all day long, you know, and they've got the banners up and all the rest of it, you know. Come and see us here, come and see us there. Oh, baby. Well, anyway, I'm going to do another video soon. I'm going to go now. Hopefully this has been recording. If not, I've been chatting for an hour and a half and nothing. Anyway, my profane friends, have a great day. Sorry I'm a bit tired. I'm slowing down now, but God knows how long I've been talking. A couple of hours, isn't it? Bloody hell, 3 hours, 3.5 hours I've been chatting. So, not too entertainment, is it? It's a bit of a depressing one, really, for me, because I'm really anti-drugs anyway. And I know what most of these dealers are and what they are, and they walk around thinking they're heroes. And if you watch them, they just surround themselves with kids. They're groomers, you know what I mean? And they're grooming the next generation of kids to be dealers for them, you know. And they don't have to go near anything because they got the kids they've groomed are doing it all for them. Do you know what I mean? You know, and it's there. But anyway, let's not talk about them. Let's keep shh, because they're good for our society, aren't they? You know what I mean? They're not killing anyone. You know what I mean? They're not doing no harm. They're perfect. They're legends. Do you know what I mean? Anyway, my profane friends, have a great day. Remember, I love you all.